Chapter 663. Your Majesty Luo Feng. Si Fan Shi communicated anxiously. Our Golden Horn race's absolute geniuses are generally much weaker than the human geniuses. However, the Golden Horn race has over 100,000 tribes. The number of domain lords we have far exceeds that of a universe country. Also, the absolute geniuses of the race will receive guidance from the elders. Naturally, their standards won't be low. Luo Feng nodded within. Yes, as they were constantly feeling threatened, the Golden Horn race's nurturing of geniuses was even more important than the humans. Even the elders of the universe night level came to teach them. The top 10 of this generation's domain lord-level geniuses are the Babe brothers. Si Fan Shi communicated. Within the top 10, the other 9 are roughly at the 9th level of origin law comprehension. And the strongest Bei brother's older brother Bei Qiu is the only one with the 10th level. Look, the thousands of youths that challenged you before, they were all quite strong. Like that Jia AI, he's one of the top 10 domain lord-level geniuses. Luo Feng blinked. Looking at the group of Golden Horn race youths that had gathered, he couldn't help but feel ashamed. He originally didn't put them in his eyes. However, he forgot. This was a race's genius. Even if they were weaker than the humans, they wouldn't be too ridiculously weak. The top 10 human domain lord-level geniuses were also primal region members. 9 of them had passed the 10th level, and 1 had passed the 11th. The 10th level and the 9th level have a fundamental difference. Every 3 levels represent a major level: 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9. There are many geniuses in the domain lord-level absolute beginning secret realm who are stuck on the 9th level. It is extremely difficult to enter the 10th level. Luo Feng was shocked within. I didn't expect the Golden Horn race's domain lord level to actually have one that stepped into the 10th level. Looks like he has the strength of a human primal region member. That one called Bei Qiu. He was the only one that could match up to a human domain lord-level primal region member. Luckily, I wasn't fighting Bei Qiu, only the top 10. Luo Feng sighed within. With my current strength against Bei Qiu, I have no chance of winning. Even against Bei Qiu, it's still very dangerous. Hearing that he had the strength to pass the 9th level of the Heavenly Bridge, Luo Feng understood that he was in big trouble. Human genius Luo Feng, don't tell me you're scared? The black-skinned, intrepid youth growled. His eyes were like lights as he stared at Luo Feng. Haha, since I promised you, naturally I'll fight. You choose the time and place, said Luo Feng. All right. The lower bed was overjoyed and shouted. Then let's set off immediately. The time of the battle is today, and the location is the arena outside the city. Sure, Luo Feng nodded. With this simple conversation, a battle between the geniuses of the human race and the Golden Horn tribe was decided. This simple conversation immediately attracted the attention of thousands of people who had gathered nearby. Even the guards of the Divine Palace cheered excitedly. For a moment, cheers and howls resounded through the mountains. Lowly bed, lowly bed, lowly bed. All of a sudden, all the geniuses of the Golden Horn clan were excited. Almost all of them shouted the name of their humble servant. Yes, as one of the top 10 domain lords, he was indeed qualified to fight against human geniuses on behalf of the Golden Horn clan. Everyone relax. The lower bed youth turned to look at the thousands of clansmen. He immediately shouted loudly, I lowly bed will definitely obtain victory for our Golden Horn clan, definitely. Victory! 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 The thousands of youths roared excitedly. Luo Feng watched silently, thinking within, victory, yes, this battle. I have no way out. I have to win. This battle didn't just represent himself. It represented humanity's glory. The moment he lost, then the Golden Horn clan would spread the name of this lower bed for countless years. They would always remember that there was a lower bed genius who defeated a human genius called Luo Feng. The more the Golden Horn clan valued this, the more they would lose face. There is only one way to defeat the lower bed. Victory! Human Luo Feng. The youth lowly bed was in high spirits. He was unprecedentedly excited. The arena is outside the city. Let's head out. Then let's go. Luo Feng nodded. So, so, so. Luo Feng's group, along with Lowly Bed and a few other Golden Horn Clan geniuses, all flew towards the arena. Simultaneously, many of the geniuses immediately connected to the virtual universe network and swiftly spread the news to their friends, telling them, the human genius and our clan's lower bed genius will soon begin their battle in the arena. The Golden Horn Clan was a vassal of humanity. Hence, they too had the right to use the virtual universe network. However, they were restricted within a space. Most of them could only chat within the clan. Many of their privileges were restricted, like they couldn't use the killing fields, etc. However, the most basic communication functions were still possible. The news was like lightning, swiftly spreading throughout the sacred city. The human genius Luo Feng and our clan's lower bed are about to battle. In the arena outside the city. It's about to begin. Right, the human genius. You didn't hear wrongly. It's a human. The news spread like wildfire. The sacred city residents who were originally busy with their own matters all put down what they were doing. With incomparable fervor, they swiftly flew out of the city. If one were to look from above, one would realize that the entire sacred city was like a flood. Almost like a tidal wave, they were all rushing in one direction, the arena outside the city. A strong sense of pride for the clan. The unwillingness to be a vassal of humanity for countless years. Facing the humans' natural inferiority. This caused this group of residents who lived in the core of the sacred city of Lasheo world, who were normally the proudest, to sink into a frenzy. They yearned for victory. They yearned for their clan's geniuses to defeat the human geniuses. The arena outside the sacred city took up a huge amount of space. Within the sacred city, it had a special status. Actually, before the Golden Horn clan migrated, they didn't have a tradition of having an arena. It was only after the clan leader Hiroto disappeared that the Golden Horn clan felt an incomparably strong sense of danger. Hence, they had various measures. For example, forbidding the geniuses from killing each other. However, they were afraid that the geniuses would lose their fighting spirit. Hence, they created the arena. The sacred city forbids battles. Only in the arena could one battle take place. The construction of the arena was similar to the humans' battle axe Coliseum. Master, our arena has a total of 100 million spectator seats. Usually, for all sorts of battles, this number of seats is more than enough. However, today, Master, we may not have enough seats. A gray-skinned youth pointed into the distance. Another tall golden-skinned man looked up too. In the distant sky, a black mass and the hundreds of millions of Golden Horn clansmen were flying over. The sacred city, as the sacred land core of the Golden Horn clan, had a population in the billions. To be able to become a resident here, many of them were trainers. Usually, there were very few battles that attracted them. However, today, over half of the entire sacred city had swiftly rushed over. Half. It was definitely over a billion. There aren't enough seats. The golden-skinned man roared. Send the order, swiftly remove all the seats and proceed according to the clan's rules. Yes, the gray-skinned youth replied. The huge arena outside the sacred city was undergoing lightning-fast changes. The original decorations, comfortable seats, etc. were all removed. Even some of the comfortable private rooms and luxurious viewing platforms were all removed. The entire arena was built to accommodate as many spectators as possible. So many people. Luo Feng sat in his resting room, looking through the window at the black mass of people flying over. This situation had already lasted for over 10 minutes. They're probably all here to spectate. Dylan looked up too. It's really shocking. Even in our human world, we can't create such a huge area for people to gather and spectate. A few large-scale battles are usually carried out in the virtual universe network. That way it's easier and less chaotic. The virtual universe network and reality are still different. Luo Feng shook his head. Your Majesty. Dylan looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng turned to look. Do you have any confidence? Dylan looked at Luo Feng. I don't. However, this battle, I can only win. Luo Feng's eyes were sharp. About 3 hours had passed. Your Majesty Luo Feng, you can enter the arena now. Elder Si Fanqi walked in from outside. Luo Feng immediately stood up. Be careful, Elder Si Fanqi said. In a battle in the arena, if one isn't careful, one side will fall. Luo Feng nodded. He naturally understood this point. This was a battle in reality, not in the virtual universe network. This sort of life and death battle, especially one that concerned the honor and glory of the two races, there was no room for mercy at all. Everyone was giving it their all, and the battle was as fast as lightning. The moment one was hit, it could result in death. Luo Feng walked out of the resting room. Under Dylan's guidance and the guidance of the dojo staff, he walked along a corridor and finally arrived at the vast arena. Rumble, the cheers and the terrifying energy waves, it was as though the entire arena was about to be torn apart. Luo Feng looked around. All he could see was a blur of silhouettes outside the arena and the tilted second-level viewing platform, as well as the highest viewing platform. They were all filled with silhouettes. There were even more people standing in mid-air in the distance. Lowly bed. Lowly bed wins. If you lose, just kill yourself. You have to win. You have to win. Victory. Victory. All sorts of sounds caused the surrounding space to boil. Over 1 billion Golden Horn clansmen roared, causing Luo Feng to hold his breath. Luo Feng looked opposite. On the arena stood the green-armored, black-skinned, intrepid youth Lowly Bed. At this time, the golden mark on his forehead was revolving with threads of blood. He had already sunk into an incomparably crazy state. The intense honor of his race, the past battles with the human geniuses, over 1 billion clansmen watching and roaring, it had completely caused Lowly Bed to enter a state of madness. He had to win. Even if he died, he had to win. Chapter 664. Within the pathway leading to the arena stood the undying guard Dylan and Elder Si Fanqi. When the battle begins, Elder Si Fanqi. Dylan looked at Elder Si Fanqi beside him. No matter what, you and I have to guarantee that His Majesty's life won't be in danger. I understand, Elder Si Fanqi said solemnly. I will be careful and on guard. The moment the victor is determined, I will immediately stop the battle and guarantee His Majesty's safety. Dylan's expression was serious, turning to look at the calm Luo Feng in the arena. The ancestor told me to protect you. There's no room for error, definitely. Dylan said. In this battle, just from the blur of silhouettes in the 3 levels of the Colosseum, along with the silhouettes in the distant sky, there were over 1 billion Golden Horn clansmen here. Just the Undyings alone, there were over 1,000. There were even a few Emperor-level Undyings. No matter what, at the last moment, we have to guarantee the lives of me and that human genius. We can't become enemies with the humans because of this. Everyone, do your best. The Undyings all did the same. However, none of the Undyings present dared say they had 100% confidence. Because Luo Feng and me were both spirit readers, the final deciding factor of the battle would naturally be the spirit weapon piercing through the body. Only when the body was pierced through would the victor be decided, and, at that time, they could very well lose their lives. Of course, Luo Feng was only a genius amongst the humans. If he were to die in such a public battle, even though the humans would be unhappy, compared to the relationship between the two races, a little genius was like an ant. It wouldn't affect the relationship between the two races. Silence. A voice resounded throughout the land and skies. Over 1 billion clansmen very quickly lowered their voices until they were completely silent. However, they were all filled with passion, staring at the arena within the arena. This battle. On one side is our Golden Horn clan's genius me. On the other is the human genius Luo Feng. A majestic voice resounded throughout the land and skies. The rules are simple. Once one side admits defeat or is defeated, it will end. Right now, the battle. My race is me against the human Luo Feng. Begin. The voice resounded. Over 1 billion Golden Horn clansmen stared at the arena, all of them holding their breaths. And on the platform, the silver-armored Luo Feng and the green-armored youth laid on the bed, facing each other. Golden Horn clan, humble bed. The young humble bed shouted loudly. Human, Luo Feng. Luo Feng looked at the opponent. Who? Who? Luo Feng and Bibu were about 10 kilometers apart. They simultaneously rose into the air and floated in mid-air. A dark golden long rod appeared on their backs and a flying spirit weapon beneath their feet. You also use the Nanshan armament? The lowly bed grinned and stared at Luo Feng. My Golden Horn clan's great Shilua duo is the true creator of the Nanshan armament. Then we'll see who uses it better. Luo Feng said coldly. All right. The lowly bed's eyes shone brightly. Boom! The dark golden staff on his back shot out countless rays of golden light. Luo Feng's gaze was like lightning as he stared at his opponent. The dark golden long rod on his back rumbled and shot out 10,000 gold lights. In an instant, countless blade silhouettes floated and the golden origin laws linked together, connecting to the universe space and gold laws. His spirit energy combined with the origin laws, immediately forming a world, Blade World. That human genius is also using the Nanshan armament. They're both the Nanshan armament's 6th level Blade World. Bibu's Blade World seems to be even bigger. Over 1 billion Golden Horn clansmen discussed softly and watched excitedly. Rumble, rumble. The moment the two large Blade Worlds formed, they clashed. The worlds clashed, the ground shook, and the mountains shook. Countless blade energy crumbled. Luo Feng's Blade World began to crack, almost as though it was about to shatter. It's about to break. The human genius is at a disadvantage. Bibu is about to win. The Golden Horn clansmen were extremely excited. Indeed, the Golden Horn genius that Elder Si Fan Shi recognized as having the strength to pass the Heavenly Bridge's 9th level. His Blade World is obviously much stronger than mine. Luo Feng roared softly. Immediately, his spirit energy control was pushed to the limit. Over 3,200 spirit energy amplitude was completely released, causing the initially shaky Blade World to immediately stabilize and become more real. Rumble, rumble. The two Blade Worlds clashed time and time again, causing the space to tremble. He's also trained the Blade World to a perfect level. The Bibu youth's expression changed. The 6th level was split into 3 levels. As one's comprehension got higher and higher, the stability of the Blade World would get stronger and stronger, finally reaching a limit. Normally, one would need to reach the Heavenly Bridge's 9th level origin law comprehension to reach its most stable state. Even after 50 years of training, Luo Feng's origin law comprehension was only roughly at the peak of the Heavenly Bridge's 7th level. Unfortunately, over 3,200 spirit energy amplitude allowed Luo Feng's spirit energy to rise to 32 times the normal limit. This allowed Luo Feng's control of the Blade World to immediately reach a level normally only reached at the Heavenly Bridge's 9th level. As the saying goes, others only have one person. I have 32 to stabilize the world. Even if his origin law comprehension was low, he could still reach an extremely high level. Human genius. If he couldn't reach this level, that would be weird. The Bibu youth thought. His lips curled up and his eyes gleamed like never before. Then let's see who's stronger. Whirlblade. Condense. The Bibu youth gritted his teeth. The two sword worlds collided, but suddenly, the world controlled by the young man rapidly shrank. But at the same time, the density of the sword chi became higher and higher. In the end, it became a huge crystal sword that was only about 10 meters long, and it enveloped the young man within it. The 10 long, huge blade completely enveloped the Blade World within. The energy wasn't wasted at all. It was extremely condensed. This was the 3rd level of the Blade World. Condense. Luo Feng, too, roared. With his telekinesis amplitude of over 3,200, the massive sword world, which had a diameter of over 10 kilometers, rapidly shrunk. In an instant, it condensed into a crystal sword that was about 10 meters long, and he stood inside the crystal sword. You're definitely going to lose. The Bibu roared. Come. Luo Feng only had eyes for his opponent. Who? Who? The two of them were within the crystal huge blade. each controlling their own crystal huge blades, each leaving a faint golden rainbow in mid-air and immediately clashing. The Bibu's crystal huge blade was as fast as lightning, unpredictable and incomparably ferocious. Luo Feng's crystal huge blade seemed to carry the power of the land and skies, incomparably sharp, clashing and clashing. Two completely different styles. Bang, 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 bang. The two crystal huge blades that were completely infused with blade worlds were terrifyingly fast, clashing time and time again, almost like two absolute swordsmen attacking each other. Ka! Luo Feng looked up fiercely. He realized that the crystal huge blade he was controlling was already cracking and cracking. He couldn't help but be shocked. With such a clash, the crystal huge blade formed from his blade world was already unstable and about to crumble. He's about to win. That human genius's blade world is about to crumble. Haha, he's definitely going to win. The Bibu hasn't even used his strongest move yet. He's already mastered the special blade technique of the blade world. The vibration space blade technique. The moment it's unleashed, the human genius will definitely lose. That goes without saying. Our Golden Horn clan is the true origin of the Nanshan armament. The techniques unleashed by the Nanshan armament are countless. The human genius using the Nanshan armament, he's definitely going to lose. You can't last long. Such a simple logic. You don't even understand? The Bibu roared. You really disappoint me. The human genius only has this little bit of strength. I've only used 70% of my strength up till now. Watch my strongest vibration space blade technique. The crystal huge blade controlled by the Bibu 2 began to connect with the power of the land and skies, and its speed became even faster, even more erratic, immediately rushing towards Luo Feng. What an exquisite control technique. Luo Feng was shocked. He had only acquired the Nanshan armament, and only knew the basic control techniques. As for how to unleash the full power of each level, it all depended on his own comprehension. However, in the Golden Horn clan, the Nanshan armament had 9 levels. Every level had its own corresponding techniques. These techniques were all created by the Golden Horn clan geniuses, requiring a certain level of comprehension of the origin laws to unleash. How could a battle technique created by one person compare to the countless techniques accumulated by the Golden Horn clan geniuses over the generations? Rumble. The blade world crystal huge blade controlled by the Bibu had already produced a blurry image. The surrounding universe space had strangely been drawn into this blade. The power of this blade was simply terrifying. Natural ability, strengthen. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Internal world. That incomparably huge golden-horned beast raised its head and roared. The golden horn on its forehead glowed with a glaring gold light that enveloped its entire body. Its natural ability immediately activated, and its consciousness strength immediately doubled. Blood warrior, blood river energy, activate. Luo Feng seemed to have gone mad. Against the oppressive Nanshan armament's blade, Luo Feng immediately unleashed his natural ability, strengthening along with his earth body's blood river energy. Absorbing 3 blood river crystals, it caused his earth body's origin law compatibility to double, causing the origin law infused attack of the crystal huge blade's power to soar. Natural ability strengthening, consciousness soaring, controlling the crystal huge blade's power to soar again. 2 consecutive soars. Luo Feng controlled the crystal huge blade, connecting to the universe space. Its power was even more terrifying, its speed was even faster, that tyrannical charge was even stronger. Gold, extreme yang, extreme hardness, incomparable sharpness. Break. Luo Feng's eyes were bloodshot. Space-shaking blade technique. Bibu's crystal huge blade had already traversed a few km distance, instantly arriving before Luo Feng. Rumble, like 2 trains colliding. Like Mars colliding with Earth. Bibu's crystal huge blade began to break apart, following which with a pung, The incomparably condensed blade world exploded, and large amounts of little golden blades flew in all directions. Luo Feng's crystal huge blade was even more tyrannical, charging forward, smashing through the opponent's crystal huge blade and simultaneously crashing into Bibu's body. Pong! Bibu's entire body flew back 10 kilometers, crashing fiercely into the walls of the dojo and falling down. Luo Feng controlled the translucent crystal huge blade and looked at Bibu. Finally, when it crashed into Bibu's body, he could clearly feel a strong energy blocking it. Bibu seemed to have flown far enough. However, in truth, the true fatal force of the attack had already been dissipated by over 90%. Otherwise, Bibu would have been smashed into meat paste. At the last moment, the Undying must have secretly saved Bibu. Luo Feng thought. That was good too. The main thing was that after unleashing his strongest attack, he couldn't even stop it in time. It was quiet. When Luo Feng controlled the crystal huge blade in mid-air of the dojo, the over 1 billion Golden Horn clansmen were silent. They lost. P.S. Chapter 2 has arrived. Continue writing the third chapter. Chapter 665. From the start of this battle, Bei Zi from the Golden Horn clan had already displayed his advantage. Even before the battle ended, Bei Zi had confidently unleashed his strongest move, using the huge crystal blade of the blade world to unleash the vibration space blade technique, wanting to easily defeat Luo Feng. However, the situation suddenly changed. The human geniuses suddenly erupted and defeated the lowly bed with overwhelming strength. How did this happen? How did he lose? He was still. The countless Golden Horn clansmen couldn't accept this result, and the host's voice resounded once again. This battle, the human genius Luo Feng wins. After hearing the final result, Luo Feng couldn't be bothered to look at Bei Zi, who was heavily injured, and swiftly flew into the pathway. Congratulations, Your Majesty. Dylan smiled. Your Majesty, Luo Feng's strength is indeed extraordinary. Entering domain, Lord level 9 for such a short period of time, and actually defeating our clan's genius Bei Zi. Elder Si Fan Chi congratulated Luo Yunyan. However, based on his tone, Elder Si Fan Chi wasn't very happy. Let's hurry and leave. Luo Feng's ears could clearly hear the over 1 billion Golden Horn clansmen's chatter, discussion, yelling, and even the sounds of challenges. Many Golden Horn clansmen's youths were shouting, Human Luo Feng, I want to challenge you. Human Luo Feng, accept my challenge. Accept my challenge. Challenges, raging shouts, all sorts of voices mixed together. The sound waves almost seemed to tear the sky apart. Yes, we have to leave immediately. Dylan nodded. Too passionate. Luo Feng shook his head and smiled. The normal members of the clan are looking forward to a victory. Bei Zi's defeat will indeed cause many to be angry and unwilling. Elder Si Fan Chi shook his head and exclaimed, however, they're all normal members. Their vision is narrow. They can't even see the difference between our Golden Horn clan and humans. Just winning a genius battle is useless to the entire clan. However, to make the clan more united, even though they know this is boring, they still have to support it. Luo Feng nodded. Your Majesty Luo Feng, let's leave from the back. Elder Si Fan Chi said. Luo Feng, Elder Si Fan Chi, Kashna, Dylan, and the 5-sector Lord Guards quietly followed a pathway to leave the dojo. However, the moment they left, they were stopped by a group of youths. Human Luo Feng, please accept my challenge. Human genius, I, Chi Nuo, officially challenge you. The group of young men of the Golden Horn clan was extremely excited. Hurry and leave. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. Yes. Dylan nodded. Don't worry, it's fine. Elder Si Fan Chi used his undying power to suppress the group of youths. Whoosh! Luo Feng and his group swiftly tore through the skies and flew towards the Saint City. The Holy City was incomparably vast, and within the Holy City, there was a city within a city, the Holy Land. The Holy Land was the most dazzling and sacred place in the entire world of Lazio. There were some residences there, specially prepared for the strong members of the Golden Horn clan. There were also two towers. One was called the Secret Tome Tower, and the other was called the Holy Tablet Tower. In terms of importance, the Holy Tablet Tower was a level higher. Look, Elder Fan Chi pointed at a white tower that was more than 100 miles high in the distance. That is the Secret Tome Tower. It contains the trial books of many powerful warriors of our Golden Horn clan. Trial copy? Luo Feng froze. Right? Elder Fan Chi nodded. There are countless manuals within the clan to allow the later generations to have a better choice of techniques. Create a trial book for each secret manual. The trial book only contains a small portion of the secret technique's contents at the very beginning. This trial book is purely to let the reader understand what the secret manual is about. As for the detailed cultivation method, there is none. Luo Feng nodded. Only after confirming which one to choose and sending the request will the true manual be given. Elder Fan Chi smiled. After all, the manuals our Golden Horn clan has accumulated over countless years are priceless. If we were to put all of them in, I'm afraid there would be many strong clans fighting over them. And right now, there are only trial copies. None of them have any training methods. It's very safe. Luo Feng understood the reason for doing this. The other Holy Tablet Tower is where the Holy Tablets are stored. Elder Fan Chi pointed at the other tower that was completely gold in color. Your Majesty Luo Feng, you have the chance to study the Holy Tablets alone for a month. When that time comes, you'll enter that tower. Look, the Sacred Land is a city within a city. Elder Fan Chi pointed to the surroundings. There were many quiet and unadorned residences around them. There were no extravagant decorations, and everything looked ancient and simple. At a glance, a large number of residences exuded a very unique ancient charm. On the streets, one could see unkempt Golden Horn clan warriors walking about. All of them seemed to be deep in thought. The Sacred Land didn't have any facilities for eating or entertainment. This was a training atmosphere. To have a residence in the Sacred Land to train peacefully, one has to be a warrior that is truly respected by countless clansmen, or an absolute genius that countless clansmen praise, or someone that the elders value. Elder Fan Chi exclaimed. The ones training in the Sacred Land are the future hope of our Golden Horn clan. Your Majesty, our Golden Horn clan has also prepared a place for you to stay. Elder Fan Chi smiled. Please follow me. After a while, a simple training residence that took up about 10 hectares of land appeared in their field of vision. Luo Feng and his group stood before it. Fan Chi pointed at the residence before them. This is considered the largest training residence in the Sacred Land. Your Majesty, you can arrange for your guards to stay here. After studying for a month at the Saint Tablet Pagoda, you can also stay here to properly absorb the wonders within the Saint Tablet. Your Majesty Luo Feng. Outside the training residence, a black-armored Golden Horn clansman bowed respectfully. From today onwards, this residence will be Your Majesty's residence. Your Majesty can stay here for as long as you wish. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. The 5 of you can rest here first. Luo Feng ordered the 5 sector lord guards. Yes, Your Majesty. The 5 bowed respectfully. Dylan, accompany me to the tower to take a look. Luo Feng smiled. Bringing Dylan, Elder Fan Chi, and Kashna, they walked a few hundred km and arrived at the majestic and resplendent Holy Tablet Tower. Luo Feng raised his head to look at the golden tower that was over 100 kilometers tall. Human Luo Feng. A low voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. Guardian of the tower, you have the chance to study alone in the tower for a month. Will you begin now? Right now. Luo Feng nodded. All right. The guardian of the Holy Tablet Tower interrupted some Golden Horn clansmen who were comprehending the Holy Tablet and drove them out of the Holy Tablet Tower. Perhaps these Golden Horn clansmen hadn't used up their time to comprehend the Holy Tablet Tower yet. However, because of the human race, they could only continue to comprehend the Holy Tablet Tower after a month. Human genius? Look, that's the one. I was studying just fine and was interrupted. I still have 3 days to study. I can only wait for a month before I can come back for another 3 days. Really? Who asked them to be humans? Tens of Golden Horn clansmen walked out of the tower. Glancing at Luo Feng and his group, they communicated and discussed. However, they didn't dare cause trouble. They only communicated and left. Dylan, you all go back first. I'll be studying in the tower. I'll come out in a month, Luo Feng said, and headed towards the entrance of the tower. The moment he entered the tower, he felt a bone-piercing cold. Just breathing made him feel the cold seep into his body. Human Luo Feng, I am the guardian of the tower. You can call me the guardian. His entire body was covered in gorgeous black armor, revealing only a pair of purple eyes. Through the helmet, one could faintly see that the guardian's skin was dark red, and his entire body was suffused with an extremely terrifying and sharp aura. Beside him, there was a 3 m tall huge blade embedded in the ground. The formless pressure it gave Luo Feng, it wasn't any weaker than true yin. Guardian, Luo Feng bowed. Go in, the guardian said solemnly. Luo Feng nodded. Walking along the pitch-black passageway, he soon arrived at an incomparably vast hall. Looking up, he could even see the ceiling of the Sage Tablet Pagoda, which was over 100 kilometers tall. It was obvious that the entire Sage Tablet Pagoda only had one floor, and in this vast hall was a towering crystal holy tablet. The entire monument was about 300 meters tall, 100 meters wide, and 50 meters thick. It was made of a light green crystal. A suffocating aura emanated from the crystal monument. At the same time, there was a hole in the center of the crystal monument. The hole was about 30 centimeters in diameter and 1 m deep. It was a conical hole. It's different from our humans' 52 primal chaos tablets. Firstly, the materials are different. The feeling is different too. Luo Feng stood in front of the Saint Tablet, immediately looking at the 300 m tall pale green crystal tablet. There was actually a very peculiar demon picture, a human-shaped demon roaring. Demon roaring picture? The entire crystal tablet is just this picture. And there's actually a conical hole in the center. Luo Feng muttered to himself, after which he didn't think anymore and began to carefully examine the tablet. Just as he focused, his consciousness was uncontrollably sucked into the demon roaring picture. Rumble, his consciousness was sucked into one of the wings of the demon roaring picture. It was almost as though he could see the endless space, the universe, and stars evolving. Just as Luo Feng realized something, the internal world that had been stuck at the pinnacle of the domain lord level seemed to be affected by this and suddenly began to tremble. Luo Feng was shocked. He immediately came out of his meditation state and understood what was happening. The internal world is about to evolve. It's about to step into the sector lord level. P.S. 3 chapters completed. Tomorrow is a rest day, Saturday. Tomato didn't dare rest completely. He decided to rest for a while. There would be a new chapter tomorrow. Chapter 666. Luo Feng stood before the huge Saint Tablet and closed his eyes, his consciousness completely immersed in the internal world. Internal world. The vast metal continent, which was 900,000 kilometers in length and width, began to crazily devour the endless golden mist surrounding the continent, as well as the endless golden mist in the sky above the continent. The mist shrouded the entire metal continent, but unlike the previous few metamorphoses, the vast metal continent did not expand after devouring the golden mist, but shrunk. Chi, the more it absorbed, the smaller the continent got, and the larger the internal world space got. In just a short while, the diameter of the entire inner world was more than 10 times larger than before. Meanwhile, the vast metal continent, which was 900,000 kilometers in length and width, became smaller and smaller as the metal mist accumulated over countless years. In the end, it became a bottomless abyss surrounded by golden mountains. Two-world abyss form. Rumble. Two-world abyss floated within the vast internal world space. The walls of the abyss were filled with incomparably complex engravings. much more complex than the engravings of the beast godhead roaring diagram of blood river power he had seen before. At the same time, countless golden specks of light were condensing within the mountains of the two worlds abyss. Those golden specks of light were the essence of the metal continent that was 900,000 kilometers long and wide, as well as the endless golden mist. At this moment, the densely packed golden specks of light were whirling incessantly, slowly condensing like a nebula. Goldhorn World Stone, condense. Luo Feng's consciousness was strong, directly controlling the process. Rumble. The nebula, like countless golden specks, immediately condensed into one, forming a pyramid-shaped golden stone that was about the size of a thumb. This golden stone floated within the two-world abyss mountain range. However, it caused the surrounding space to ripple, formless ripples, completely causing the entire internal world to tremble. Goldhorn World Stone. A golden horn beast can only produce one Goldhorn World Stone in its entire life. This stone is formed from the golden horn beast's huge internal world's true gold essence. It contains gold and space elements. It's a true treasure. Luo Feng exclaimed within. The Goldhorn World Stone, the golden horn beast's most important treasure, because after breaking through from the domain lord level to sector lord level, the golden horn beast's internal world would no longer be pure gold energy. It would become a very normal world with rivers and mountains, an internal world that could accommodate life. Therefore, the violent and aggressive metal energy condensed into a two-worlds abyss. The essence of the two-world abyss was within the Goldhorn World Stone. While the internal world was changing, Luo Feng's earth body's core was also changing. Rumble. The soul crystal and origin crystal melted into a liquid torrent under the influence of an invisible force. The two torrents began to come into contact, and when the spirit power and origin force truly came into contact, the first fusion after the fusion of consciousness and the first strand of world force was born. The power of the world was born. This allowed Luo Feng's consciousness to resonate and feel the vast universe's origin. The primeval universe was the most ancient, vast, and powerful universe that nurtured the most life forms. Although the primal universe was an independent universe outside of the primal universe, it was not even a fraction of the primal universe. The true origin of the primeval universe. When the first thread of world energy was produced within Luo Feng's body, it connected to the incredibly distant source grounds. This is the origin of the universe? Luo Feng's consciousness, under the resonance of the world energy, immediately entered the origin of the universe. It was an incredibly vast land. With Luo Feng's consciousness, he could only feel this endless land. He couldn't feel anything else. And this endless land, every grain of sand was like space, and within the space were endless universe crystals. One grain of sand, one world, endless universe crystals. This is the true appearance of the universe origin grounds? Luo Feng was incredibly shocked. However, the trillions of kilometers of land that he could feel was probably just a small portion of the universe origin grounds. Even so, it was enough to make Luo Feng tremble. Two worlds resonance. When Luo Feng's consciousness truly came into contact with the universe origin grounds, his core and internal world simultaneously underwent shocking changes. The internal world originally only had two world abyss left, but at this moment, it was as though a passage had been opened between the inner world and the primeval origin source land of the universe. An endless amount of the origin source energy of the universe, the world energy, surged into the inner world like a raging flood. It was incomparably violent, and in an instant, the space of the inner world was completely filled. One had to know the internal world space was already 10 times larger than before, yet it was still filled in an instant. Obviously, to the primeval universe origin grounds, any grain of sand's universe crystal's energy was enough to fill up Luo Feng's internal world. How satisfying! Instantly having so much universe energy, It's a pity such a chance is only available once when a domain lord breaks through to the sector lord level. And it's also the only chance. Luo Feng sighed within, after which he didn't think any further, his consciousness controlling the universe origin energy that filled up the internal world energy. Condense. Central continent, metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, the 5 peripheral continents. The diameter of the vast central continent was about 5 million kilometers, and there were 5 peripheral continents with diameters of about 1 million kilometers. These 5 continents were either fiery hot, cold, or filled with endless grass and trees, metal mountain ranges, or endless thick earth. Between the 6 continents is the endless ocean. Rumble, between the land and land, there was an endless amount of water, flooding the entire internal world. The ocean area far exceeded the land area. Within the central continent, there's an internal ocean. Suddenly, the central part of the central continent, which had a diameter of 5 million kilometers, began to collapse. The soil turned into nothingness, and endless seawater was born. In an instant, a vast inland sea with a diameter of 900,000 kilometers was born. This inland sea was completely inside the central continent. The heart of the internal ocean is the two-world abyss. Goo goo, the ocean churned. The two-world abyss slowly rose, almost like a lone island in the internal ocean. The center of the island was the endless abyss, almost like it led to another world. Endless living things grow. Luo Feng allowed the internal world to naturally evolve. The central continent, the 5 peripheral continents, the internal ocean, the endless ocean, all of them naturally grew plants, flowers, mountains, etc. In an instant, the entire internal world was no different from a real world. Internal world, form. Hua Hua, the unused large amounts of universe origin energy, swiftly transformed into universe crystals, immediately forming a universe crystal mountain on the continent. The internal world had already been formed. The universe energy world energy naturally formed a universe crystal mountain. Normally, when one just stepped into the sector lord level, they would all have such encounters. However, normal sector lords had no way of obtaining such a huge universe crystal mountain, because those sector lords' internal worlds were much smaller than Luo Feng's. From what I know, many sector lords' internal worlds are usually over 10,000 kilometers in diameter. And my internal world's diameter is over 10 million kilometers. The stronger the internal world, the more powerful the core it had to be. From a 900,000 kilometers long and wide internal world to over 10 million kilometers in diameter, Luo Feng's core once again underwent a fundamental change. During the process, the core naturally absorbed the essence energy that leaked from the internal world, which was also a small portion of the Goldhorn Worldstone's energy. Rumble. Within the core, the spirit energy flow and genetic energy flow had already completely fused, following the universe's natural evolution. It had transformed into an origin orb. The orb revolved slightly, releasing endless threads connecting to the core. Because of this, the original core had completely changed. From the star traveler level to the domain lord level, the core had always been translucent, with complicated golden engravings on the surface, emitting golden light. It was very mysterious. However, after stepping into the sector lord level, the core absorbed the essence energy of the internal world, the energy of the origin orb, the energy of the universe energy, becoming a seemingly normal core. Simple and unadorned. There was no light. Even the golden engravings had been completely retracted. My God! Luo Feng was shocked. My current core can hold a 10 million kilometers diameter internal world. It's already much more terrifying than many Sector Lord Pinnacle's core. When I reach the pinnacle of Sector Lords, just what level will this core reach? No wonder the Golden Horn Beast has 3 great natural abilities, inherited memories, and a lifespan that's 10 times that of a human's. However, those that break through to the undying level are still extremely few. Feeling the core's strength, Luo Feng understood how difficult it was to break through to the undying level. Even now, if Luo Feng let go of his defenses and let a strong attack his core, even a Sector Lord Pinnacle wouldn't be able to break it. Of course, Luo Feng wouldn't let others attack his own. After stepping into the Sector Lord level, the internal world is already a true world. It doesn't necessarily have to swallow metals. Normal Sector Lords all use universe crystals to push their world to evolve. Before, when my internal world expanded, it too relied on the endless universe crystals to instantly evolve. I have two paths. The first path uses universe crystals to expand the internal world. That way, even when I reach the pinnacle of Sector Lords, the internal world's diameter will only exceed 30 million kilometers. The second path still uses the most precious metals to swallow. Those metals are most suitable for the Golden Horned Beast after being swallowed by the two-world abyss. The purest and most precious metal energy will be absorbed into the Golden Horn World Stone. The other energies will directly push the internal world to evolve. After the Gold Horn World Stone transforms, traces of its essence energy will affect the original core, making the original core stronger and able to hold a larger inner world. Such a peak Sector Lord's limit is an inner world with a diameter of over 90 million kilometers. Luo Feng was very clear. The first path meant it was slightly easier. Many Golden Horn beasts would choose this path. The second path was incomparably difficult, because the shackles were stronger. However, the benefits were that the internal world would be bigger, its power would be stronger, its future god country would be stronger too. The constantly absorbing essence of the Golden Horn World Stone could be said to be the highest quality. Chapter 667. Two paths, one easy, one hard. Which one to choose? Within the tower, Luo Feng, who was standing before the Saint Tablet with his eyes closed, revealed a smile. My heart is like a mirror, seeing through all illusions. My heart is like a blade, cutting through all obstacles. Luo Feng didn't hesitate at all, calmly making his decision. If I don't even have the courage to break through to undying as a golden horn beast, how can I even talk about becoming an absolute being in the universe? How can I even talk about becoming a true upper echelon of humanity? I believe I can do it. I definitely can, Luo Feng thought. As someone who had received guidance from Thunder God and Hong to train his mental state, he placed more emphasis on his mental state. If a person didn't even have the courage to challenge difficult things, then he was destined to achieve nothing at all. And if he had absolute confidence and courage when facing truly difficult problems, then he would have to work hard and surpass his limits, getting closer to his goal. Even if he failed in the end, his achievements would still be extremely high. Just like that, Luo Feng naturally chose the second path, swallowing large amounts of metals to strengthen his internal world. Actually, he had long purchased the metals needed for the Sector Lord level from this. Within, Luo Feng had already planned for his future. Back then, when I was a normal warrior on Earth, did anyone ever think that I would become a Milky Way leader? When I entered the universe as Earth's strongest warrior, did anyone ever think that I would become one of the top 10 geniuses of humanity's 1,008 universe countries in the genius battles? Did anyone ever think that I would be able to make it into the primal region in the first qualification battles? And right now, many people think that I have hopes of becoming an official or emperor-level undying. However, how many would dare to think that I would become a Universe Knight-level being? Luo Feng thought, his eyes gleaming even more. A true warrior had absolute confidence in himself. Firstly, he dared to think, then he worked hard. Only then could he succeed. If he didn't even dare to have such a goal, how could he succeed? Internal world. Within the vast internal world, on a grass plain in the central continent, there was a space beast that was like a black mountain range. Beside it stood a black Masha Luo Feng. The Golden Horned Beast has broken through to Sector Lord level. The Masha clansman has broken through to the Sector Lord level. Following the push of his consciousness, the originally majestic universe, crystal mountain of countless universe crystals, immediately shattered into dense world energy. It was like two streams of energy. One stream of world energy continuously flowed into the Golden Horned Beast's body. The other flow continued to surge into Masha Luo Feng's body. Of the two torrents, one was about 10 meters thick, while the other was more than 10 kilometers thick. Kakaka, the golden horned beast's entire body made all sorts of sounds. After training the nameless manual, its body that was already stronger than before started to evolve. It swallowed large amounts of world energy, causing its body to grow larger and larger. Its scales became even tighter, to the point that there was even a layer of transparent scales. On the golden horned beast's forehead began to grow a fifth horn. The other four horns also began to grow longer. Rumble, the Masha clone next to him, completely turned into a black stream of energy, and the black stream of energy became denser and denser. In the center of the black stream of energy, one could faintly see a resplendent life crystal that flickered with spatial laws. Boom! Boom! The 10 kilometers thick world energy stream and 10 thick world energy stream were cut off at the same time. The golden horned beast body length had already reached a shocking 100 kilometers. The moment its scaled wings were unleashed, it could easily cover any huge city on Earth. In the blink of an eye, it could go one round around Earth. To such a powerful being, a planet was simply too small. The place it lived in was the universe space. Hua, the rumbling black energy suddenly condensed and formed into a black clothed Luo foam. Sector Lord Golden Horn Beast and Sector Lord Masha Luo Foam stood on the grass plain. Howl! The golden horned beast raised its head and let out a roar that shook the entire endless world, announcing that it had finally stepped into the Sector Lord level. Masha Luo Foam, too, let out a carefree laugh. After stepping into the Sector Lord level, it's indeed different. Masha Luo Feng's face was filled with glee. This Masha clansman's space law compatibility was increased by tens of times, and the Sector Lord level is the fastest level to train. Now that it has stepped into the Sector Lord level, along with the Masha clansman's growth, it was said that the training speed of the Sector Lord level was extremely fast. Sector Lord level was an explosive period of strength. Even the Undying level couldn't compare to the Sector Lord level. This was also why many warriors would rather stay at the Sector Lord level for longer and not rush to break through to the Undying level. Just like that time Sector Lord Luo, he had stayed at the Sector Lord level for so long. However, now that his lifespan was nearing its end, stepping into the Undying level was extremely dangerous. Within the empty Saint Tablet Tower, before the majestic Saint Tablet, Luo Feng stood silently and finally opened his eyes. I've broken through to the Sector Lord level. With the two-world abyss, it'll be much safer to use my natural ability, swallowing, in the future than before. Luo Feng thought. The Golden Horned Beast and Masha clansmen have both reached Sector Lord level 1. From Domain Lord to Sector Lord, this huge leap in strength is indeed exaggerated. I'm not in a rush to train that 10,000 soul control technique. It won't be too late to train after a month of studying the Saint Tablet. I can't waste this month. Although it sounded slow, in truth the internal world breakthrough, the Golden Horned Beast and Masha clansmen didn't even take half a day. After which Luo Feng focused on the pale green crystal Saint Tablet before him. The towering holy monument had a huge picture of a roaring demon on it. The demon had 2 curved horns, a pair of wings, and a pair of eyes that were like flames. At first glance, it looked like an ordinary picture of a roaring demon, but if one really looked at it carefully, every feather on the demon's wings, the flames surrounding the eyes, every strand of hair, every pattern on the curved horns, and the mysterious patterns on the armor, they were all mysterious and profound. Rumble. A portion of Luo Feng's consciousness was immersed in the demon roaring picture. The majority of his consciousness, the Golden Horned Beast and Masha clansman's consciousness, immediately passed through the world energy and entered the universe source grounds. The mysterious universe source grounds. The core of the entire primal universe. No one knew when it existed. However, one only knew that, at Sector Lord level, one's consciousness could enter the universe source grounds for the first time. This feels too good. A large part of Luo Feng's consciousness was sucked into the endless land, entering a grain of sand, and his consciousness was unprecedentedly clear. He could feel gold, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, light, space, time, all sorts of ripples. He could feel them all. The origin of laws was also hidden in the mysterious origin of the universe. When one's consciousness entered the universe source grounds, it would be incomparably close to the origin laws. As it was incomparably close, hence the feeling was extremely clear. Even the wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, light, and time that he didn't understand in the past, the clarity of his comprehension wasn't any lower than when he was at the domain lord level. Of course, if the clarity of wood, water, and fire was 100, then the clarity of the gold laws would be 10,000, and the space laws would be 200,000. How can the sector lord level not be fast? This origin law comprehension is more than 100 times easier. Many things that couldn't be comprehended at the universe level or domain lord level. After becoming a sector lord, one can still train to the point of being recognized by the origin laws. Luo Feng exclaimed, "The sector lord level is indeed blessed by the heavens." World energy was a special form of creation energy. The realm lords used the power of the world to create a world, and the origin grounds of the universe, that boundless land, was the boundless power of the world. Every grain of sand contained an endless amount of universe crystals. It was because the world energy was special, hence one's consciousness could enter the universe source grounds. The moment one reached undying, the energy level would change once more, possessing even stronger undying energy. However, he would no longer be able to merge his consciousness with the land. It wasn't always better to be stronger. It was better to be suitable. With the world energy, one would have the chance to comprehend all sorts of laws. The moment one stepped into the undying level, even after millions and trillions of years, one wouldn't be able to comprehend the space laws. Firstly, the higher one went, the harder it got. Secondly, the undying level couldn't be as extravagant as the sector lord level. At the sector lord level, some absolute geniuses only trained for tens of thousands of years, and their comprehension of the laws could match an emperor-level undying. However, a normal undying, breaking through constantly, to reach emperor level, even 100 million years, was impossible. This was the advantage of a sector lord. This was also the reason why many ambitious people didn't want to enter the undying realm too quickly. They wanted to comprehend more laws at the sector lord level, so that the moment they stepped into the undying realm, they would have a strong foundation, directly becoming an official level, or even an emperor level undying. Like that absolute genius Kadi, he was able to kill an official level undying at sector lord level. If he didn't die and entered the undying level, then the moment he did, he would immediately reach the emperor level. Within the internal world, Masha Luo Feng sat cross-legged. Within his body, the complex space engravings on the life crystal rippled, causing the Masha clansman's consciousness to sense the space ripples to increase by 10 times. Blood river energy. The golden horn beast also activated the blood river energy in its right claw. Its right claw swiftly transformed. Simultaneously, a blood-colored beast god head roaring appeared, causing the golden horn beast's ability to sense the gold laws to increase by 10 times. Before, the gold law's clarity was 10,000. The space law's clarity was 200,000. And at this time, the gold law's clarity was 100,000. The space law's clarity was estimated to be over 200,000. This far surpassed wood, water, fire, thunder, light, and time. It's too beautiful. While studying the Demon Roar diagram tablet, I'm also comparing it with the space and gold laws. Comparing and studying this speed is really. Luo Feng felt that studying in front of the tablet for a day was equivalent to 100 years of studying at the domain lord level. Of course, the main thing was that at the sector lord level, Luo Feng's training speed was hundreds of times faster than at the domain lord level. Chapter 668. Luo Feng studied within the pagoda, hungry and thirsty, not daring to waste any time at all. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, asterisk, 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 sacred city. Within one of the ancient training quarters within the sacred land, Si Fan Chi, Kashna, Dylan, and the 5 sector lords all stayed here. His Majesty Luo Feng has already entered the pagoda to train. You all better focus on your training. When your strength surpasses that lowly being, come and find the human Luo Feng. At the entrance of the training quarters, Elder Si Fan Chi looked coldly at the group of golden horn youths gathered outside. Not having enough strength and still coming to challenge. Haven't you lost enough face? Undying pressure emanated out. This caused the group of golden horn youths to feel fear. Emperor-level undyings. Even in the strong upper tribes, there were usually only 1 or 2. They were definitely high and mighty beings. What are you still standing here for? All of you scram back. Elder Si Fan Chi roared fiercely. Yes, Elder. The group of youths bowed obediently. Even though they were unwilling, they still left. Elder Si Fan Chi watched as the youths left. He couldn't help but shake his head. These youths were completely riled up by the glory of defeating the humans in history. All of them were completely riled up. Compared to the humans, our clan's intelligence is obviously much lower. Elder Si Fan Chi sighed within. The stone life form and the flesh and blood life form are very different. Maybe the chances of producing a strong warrior is higher. However, their reproduction rate and intelligence are much lower. These youths within the clan are riled up. All of them don't care about anything else. The Golden Horn clan was indeed like that. As long as they were riled up, they would risk their lives. Humans, however, were different. Human beings were more intelligent. Even the apprentice-level human beings were extremely smart. The experts of the Golden Horn clan might have a strong consciousness calculation ability, which could be compared to optical computers, but they were not good at EQ. To put it simply, they were stupid and not smart enough. However, the existences that had lived for a long time still had high intelligence under the test of time. Elder Si Fan Chi. Dylan brought 5 sector lord guards and walked over. Mr. Dylan. Si Fan Chi smiled at Dylan. I've troubled Elder Si Fan Chi. Every time there are too many challengers, Elder Si Fan Chi has to step in to suppress them. Dylan, who was dressed in a black robe, smiled. In the past 20 days, I haven't had a break. Elder Si Fan Chi, you worked hard. It's our Golden Horn clan's fault. Si Fan Chi shook his head helplessly. Our Golden Horn clan has too many youngsters. Although we've forbidden them from disturbing us, there are still some fearless youngsters who dare to challenge us. I couldn't kill the future of the clan, so I could only order them to leave. Mr. Dylan, you can't cultivate in peace. Nothing. Dylan shook his head. Actually, it's not a big deal for these clansmen to challenge us. Elder Si Fan Chi shook his head. What I'm really worried about is a genius young man in the clan. Who? Dylan asked. Baichio. Elder Si Fan Chi said solemnly. Sacred City Elder, God, Palace Genius. One of the Bei brothers' older brother Baichio. Amongst the domain Lord Level 9 geniuses, Baichio, who was defeated by His Majesty Luo Feng before, has the right to be in the top 10. And his brother Baichio is definitely number 1. In terms of origin law comprehension, according to your human standards, he should have the ability to reach the 10th level of the Heavenly Bridge. 10th level? Dylan was shocked. Going from the 9th level to the 10th was extremely difficult. The Virtual Universe Company had a total of 10 domain Lord Primal Region members, of which 9 were at the 10th level and 1 at the 11th. He didn't expect the Golden Horn clan to have such a genius. The Bei brothers are known for their ferocity and ferocity. They're a pair of brothers with heavy killing intent. Elder Si Fan Chi emphasized. Baichio has lost. His brother Baichio will definitely rush back to the sacred city. With Baichio's arrogant and ferocious personality, he'll definitely challenge His Majesty Luo Feng. The other clansmen can just challenge him. However, Baichio, he's the number 1 amongst the domain Lord Geniuses. Dylan frowned too. Actually, the fact that Luo Feng could defeat Baichio previously was already a surprise to Dylan. Dylan had even secretly informed True Yin of the battle. His Majesty will probably lose against that Baichio. Dylan thought. The difference between the 9th and 10th level is extremely obvious. His Majesty's training time is too short. Just as Elder C. Fan Shi and Dylan were chatting, they suddenly sensed a powerful aura. Elder C. Fan Shi, Dylan, the 5-sector lords, and Kashna all turned to look. St. Tablet Tower. C. Fan Shi and Dylan were shocked. In the distance, the majestic golden tower that was 100 kilometers tall was currently enveloped by an incredibly powerful origin law energy. Golden engravings revolved around it, and golden light shot in all directions. In an instant, the entire golden tower was incomparably glaring. The intense origin law ripples made one's heart palpitate. The origin laws have descended. C. Fan Shi and Dylan glanced at each other in shock. They were very clear on what this meant. His Highness is in the Saint Monument Pagoda. A world overlord guard behind Dylan called out in joy. Other than the Guardian, there's only His Majesty Luo phone within the tower. Elder C. Fan Shi's eyes gleamed. Right now, the origin laws have descended, and it's the gold laws. Without a doubt, His Majesty Luo phone has already gained the recognition of the gold laws. The recognition of the origin laws. Kashna was shocked. His Majesty Luo phone is only at the domain lord level. Dylan looked at the distant tower and was extremely excited. He nodded and thought, I have to immediately report this to the ancestor. Within the sacred land, the strong were as common as the clouds. Very often, there would be a warrior who had gained the recognition of the origin laws. The special scenes of the origin laws descending would appear. The cultivators in the Holy Land were already used to this, but this time, the special scene appeared in the Holy Tablet Pagoda. Moreover, many people knew that the human domain master genius was comprehending alone in the Saint Tablet Tower. The human genius has gained the recognition of the origin laws so fast. Domain Lord level 9, and he's able to gain the recognition of the origin laws. Looks like in terms of the gold origin laws, he's already reached an extremely high level. Powerful. Many cultivators in the sacred land looked up at the towering golden pagoda. Within the tower, Luo Feng stood silently before the majestic pale green tablet. His eyes were focused on the demon-roaring picture on the tablet. Rumble. The space around him slightly trembled. A golden water droplet appeared above Luo Feng's head and fell. Drip! The golden water droplet landed on his head. Seeing Luo Feng's body as nothing, it seeped in and landed on the core. As though it pierced through nothing, it pierced through the core. Finally, the golden water droplet landed on the origin orb. The origin orb was the fusion of the domain lord's soul crystal and genetic energy crystal, Luo Feng's energy core, and also the soul core. Chi. Easily, the golden water droplet was completely absorbed by the origin orb. This orb had an additional gold color. At this time, Luo Feng had officially gained the recognition of the gold origin laws. A golden blade mark slowly appeared on Luo Feng's forehead. This mark had a heart-palpitating ripple of origin laws. This was a sign of one gaining the recognition of the origin laws. Simultaneously, an even bigger golden blade mark appeared on the golden horned beast's forehead. I didn't expect my gold origin law comprehension level to have already reached the level where the origin laws have recognized me. Luo Feng revealed a smile. I've already gained the recognition of the origin laws. Then, my consciousness should be able to enter the origin law ocean. The universe origin laws were extremely mysterious. After reaching sector lord level, due to the world energy, Luo Feng's consciousness was able to merge with the boundless land. And when a drop of origin law water merged with his soul, it caused his soul consciousness to undergo a transformation. At this time, Luo Feng felt his soul shaking calling, almost like a mother calling her child. So, Luo Feng split half of his consciousness and swiftly left the boundless land. He was immediately attracted by the calling. Rumble, a golden ocean, boundless and endless. This was the origin of the gold laws, the entire primal universe's gold laws. Endless amounts of origin law energy permeated the entire ocean. The powerful pressure far exceeded any warrior Luo Feng had ever met. Luckily, Luo Feng had already gained the recognition of the origin law ocean, merging with a drop of water. Rumble. The waves surged and rumbled, endless and endless. Luo Feng's consciousness merged with a drop of water and floated along with the ocean, constantly searching and comprehending the gold laws. A portion of his consciousness merged with the boundless land, another portion within the gold origin law ocean, and the last portion studying the Saint Tablet before him. My consciousness has gained the recognition of the gold origin laws. My current comprehension speed isn't any slower than the space laws. Luo Feng looked at the Saint Tablet before him. He was filled with glee within. Gaining the recognition of the origin laws meant that his comprehension of the origin laws had already reached a very high level. 20 days of study. The Sector Lord level's efficiency is hundreds of times higher than the Domain Lord levels. Plus the effect of studying the Saint Tablet. One day is equivalent to 100 years of study for a Domain Lord. 20 days, and I'm close to 2,000 years of study for a Domain Lord. Luo Feng exclaimed. He could only exclaim at the huge difference between Sector Lord and Domain Lord. In the Virtual Universe Company, the competition for the Sector Lord members of the Primal Region was the most intense. Generation after generation of genius battles, hero battles, as well as the selection of the human elites in the entire universe, etc. Over 10 million years of elites were gathered at the Sector Lord level. However, there were only 100 of them, and they were all Sector Lord level in the Primal Region. No wonder they all value Sector Lord geniuses. A Sector Lord's 1 day of study is equivalent to a Domain Lord's 1 year. Sector Lord study for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. How can the Domain Lord geniuses compare? Luo Feng thought. This Saint Tablet is coincidentally related to space and gold. It's extremely beneficial to me. Luo Feng stared at the Saint Tablet before him. There's less than 10 days left. I can't waste it. Gaining the recognition of the origin laws only distracted Luo Feng for 1 to 2 minutes, after which he continued to study. Chapter 669. In the blink of an eye, 30 days had passed. Human, your study time is up. You can come out. The Protector's low and powerful voice resounded in Luo Feng's ears and mind, immediately waking him up. Luo Feng's consciousness swiftly left the universe origin grounds and origin law ocean, as well as the demon-roaring picture on the sacred tablet. Who? Luo Feng looked reluctantly at the majestic pale green tablet. It's a pity it's only a month. This tablet's effect on me is even better than the 9-universe tablet. Luo Feng sighed within. The first 7 pictures of the 9-universe tablet were all space laws, hence studying the 9-universe tablet wasn't much of a help to the gold laws, at least it was far from this tablet. Luo Feng turned and left, following the exit. The guardian of the Holy Monument Tower, who was wearing black armor and standing there like a statue, had a 3-meter-tall giant saber stabbed into the ground next to him. An invisible pressure covered the entire area, pressuring every member of the Golden Horn clan who entered the Holy Monument Tower. Rumble, the tall door slowly opened. Light from outside shone in. Luo Feng walked out alone. Your Majesty, Luo Feng. Outside the door stood Dylan, the 5 Sector Lord guards, Si Fan Shi, and Kashna. Luo Feng smiled and nodded to his people. However, his expression changed, as there was another large group of Golden Horn clan youths gathered outside the tower. They were like red-eyed calves, all staring hard at Luo Feng. Human Luo Feng, I challenge you. Human, accept my challenge. If you are a warrior, accept my challenge. Various voices could be heard. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows and walked over to Dylan, Elder Si Fan Shi, and the others, communicating, Let's first return to our training quarters. Elder Si Fan Shi, I'll have to rely on you to deal with this group of crazy clansmen. After which, Luo Feng brought Dylan and the others and swiftly left the tower. It was indeed a mess. Training quarters. Luo Feng and the others pushed open the door and entered. As they walked, Luo Feng said, "Dylan, I'm preparing to sort through this month's study of the tablet, after which I'll head to the secret manual tower to choose." After saying that, Luo Feng chose a study room to study. "Your Highness is truly diligent in your cultivation." Seeing this, Dylan shook his head and smiled. "Yeah, when I hadn't reached the immortal realm, I was also this hard-working. After reaching the undying realm, one would obtain eternal life and no longer have to worry about the limit of lifespan. Along with the fact that it was extremely hard for undyings to improve, the slow improvement and limitless lifespan made undyings not so hardworking." Luo Feng sat crossed-legged in the meditation room, closing his eyes and pondering over the mysteries he hadn't fully comprehended from the Saint Tablet, carefully pondering over them. Unknowingly, half a month had passed. Luo Feng opened his eyes and revealed a smile. "I've comprehended everything on the Saint Tablet. Comprehending the Saint Monument for 30 days would be equivalent to a sector lord who had cultivated for 8 years and a domain lord who had cultivated for close to 3,000 years. And it hasn't even been 300 years since Luo Feng was born. He had improved tremendously in these 30 days. However, the difficulty of the 9 universe tablets, 9 pictures, rose exponentially. Even though he had comprehended the raindrop picture and drizzle picture before, the raindrop picture had a total of 36 drops. However, the rainstorm picture had another 72 drops that were more than 100 times harder. Even after 30 days of study, it only allowed Luo Feng's origin law comprehension to roughly surpass the Heavenly Bridge's 9th level. Comprehending the 108 drops. Normal warriors only needed to comprehend it. That was equivalent to getting 100 points in the exam. And comprehending the essence was equivalent to answering all the additional questions correctly, getting 150 points. Even though it was just slightly more profound, the difficulty was raised by 10 to 100 times. This was also the reason why True Yin was worried about Luo Feng's ability when he asked him to study floating blood. Because comprehending the essence, the requirement for origin law comprehension was simply too high. 30 days. That was equivalent to a domain lord's 3,000 years of training, allowing Luo Feng to completely understand the 3rd rainstorm picture. This meant that he could get 100 points in the even more profound 72 drops. Comprehending the 3rd picture meant that Luo Feng already had enough origin law comprehension to pass the 9th level of the Heavenly Bridge. From the peak of the 7th level to the 9th, I've only used 30 days, and I've finally comprehended the rainstorm picture. Normally when warriors train, in theory, they should be on to the next picture. The 4th picture. It's a pity I can't. I have to comprehend the most profound 72 space essences. Luo Feng studied for 30 days and realized how difficult it was to comprehend the 72 essences. The first 9 were the easiest. He had comprehended them back in Primal Chaos City. The middle 27 were much harder. Through the fortuitous encounters in Blood River World, Luo Feng's comprehension speed soared. With the Beast God statue's long-term observation, along with Tian Shi Palace leaders' pointers, he finally comprehended them all. The last 72 were the hardest. Luo Feng had accepted the impossible level mission and trained on Earth for 50 years. Now he was training in the Saint Tablet Tower for 30 days, equivalent to a domain lord's 3,000 years. Under such circumstances, Luo Feng had only reached 100 points in the rainstorm picture. However, he hadn't even comprehended a single one of the 72 essences. Difficult. Incredibly difficult. Normal absolute geniuses. Even if they spent 1,000 years of their entire lifespan at Sector Lord level, they wouldn't be able to comprehend all 108 essences of the space laws. Only the true, absolute geniuses at the pinnacle of the universe had the right to waste large amounts of time. Back then, the pinnacle genius, Lien Luo, when he was a Sector Lord, spent 3,000 years in Primal Chaos City to comprehend them all. Of course, in terms of talent, with the golden horned beast powered by Blood River energy and the space darling Masha clansman, he probably surpassed the pinnacle genius of the universe humanity, Lien Luo. especially with Luo Feng's beast god statue. He could use it to study the first claw at any time. Luo Feng walked out of the study. Immediately, a few silhouettes flashed past. Dylan, the 5 sector lords, Elder Si Fan Shi, and Kashna all appeared. Your Majesty, have you finished studying? Dylan smiled as he walked over. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Congratulations, Your Majesty Luo Feng. How was your study of the Saint Tablet? Elder Si Fan Shi looked at Luo Feng. Not bad. Luo Feng complimented. Not bad indeed. Right now, just in terms of origin law comprehension, he had already reached the 9th level of the Heavenly Bridge. The moment Luo Feng fully unleashed his spirit energy amplitude, reaching over 3,200, it would raise his strength by 10 times. If he really tried the 9-universe Heavenly Bridge, he could definitely pass the 10th level. Just in terms of origin law comprehension, he was already at the 9th level. His battle strength was already enough to pass the 10th level. The demon note, inheritance, is indeed very beneficial to me. Luo Feng complimented within. However, my improvement is too shocking. It's not too suitable for me to attempt the Heavenly Bridge now. As long as he was happy with his improvement, it was enough. There was no need to be cocky about attempting the Heavenly Bridge. After all, there weren't any special benefits to attempting it now. If there were no benefits, it would at most make him stand out. Luo Feng wouldn't do it. Let's go. We'll head to the secret manual tower. Luo Feng said. In the secret tome tower, there are countless trial books of the entire Golden Horn clan. Many of them are unique and unconventional. Even our human treasure trove might not have them. Dylan smiled. Your Majesty must choose seriously. Of course. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Wasn't that right? In the Virtual Universe Company, to train a manual, one needed a huge amount of points to exchange. A normal manual would cost over 10,000 points. Some of the more valuable manuals cost millions to tens of millions. And some of the more expensive super manuals, even Luo Feng's teacher True Yin Emperor could only stare dumbfounded. I have to choose an expensive manual from the expensive ones. Luo Feng thought. The more expensive it was, the more valuable it was. There was no doubt about that. From the expensive ones, he would choose what suited him. After a while, Luo Feng and his group followed the Sacred Land streets and arrived before the majestic white pagoda. The entire pagoda's height was similar to the Saint Tablet Tower. However, it was completely white. The entire pagoda emitted an energy that calmed one's heart. Getting close to the pagoda, one's entire soul felt unprecedentedly calm. Luo Feng and his group followed the stairs and entered the pagoda's entrance, arriving at the first level. This first level is the reception level. Elder Si Fan Chi explained beside. Your Majesty Luo Feng. A sharp voice resounded. A tall and skinny female Golden Horn race member dressed in light green armor walked over, making Luo Feng feel as though she was an absolute beauty. Due to the Golden Horn race's life structure, their skin and human skin were very different. The female's lips curled up. Your Majesty Luo Feng, my name is Zeus. I'm one of the receptionists of the pagoda. We've long received orders from the Chief Elder Palace that Your Majesty Luo Feng can choose any of the books within this tower. As long as you choose, we'll give the entire book to you. I'll explain the entire process to you, allowing you to save time. After all, the manuals here are simply too huge. The entire pagoda has a total of 999 levels. Every level has millions of manuals. Then I'll be troubling Miss Zeus. Luo Feng said. Your Majesty Luo Feng, we'll rest here and wait. There's no need to rush. Choose carefully, this opportunity is hard to come by. Elder Si Fan Chi said. Luo Feng nodded. Let's go. Luo Feng looked at the female Golden Horn race member Zeus. I'll lead the way. Zeus walked beside Luo Feng, leading the way. Following the stairs, they swiftly ascended to the second level. Luo Feng took a deep cold breath. The second level was extremely huge. The height was close to 100 m. Bookshelves were scattered all around. On the bookshelves were books. Even though they were laid flat, due to the sheer size of the space, The bookshelves were at least 70 m tall. Hence, there were simply too many books. The entire second level definitely had over 1 million manuals. Every level has so many, 999 levels. Luo Feng sighed. The number of manuals for a race is indeed ridiculous. Luo Feng's gaze swept across. He discovered that every manual had a price beside it. For example, some manuals were worth 120 contribution points. Some were worth 388. Your Majesty Luo Feng. The female Golden Horn clansman, Zeus, explained, the secret techniques on the 999th floor of the secret cannon tower are distributed according to the number of contribution points. The most expensive secret technique on the first floor only costs 612 contribution points, and the cheapest one on the second level costs 612 contribution points. The higher you go, the more expensive it gets. How expensive is the 999th level? Luo Feng asked. The cheapest one on the 999th level costs about 98 million contribution points. The most expensive one costs about 6 billion contribution points. Zeus said, of course, Your Majesty Luo Feng can choose any one of them for free. After finishing the third chapter, I'll ask for a monthly ticket. If you have a monthly ticket, please support Tomato. Chapter 670. The female Golden Horn race member Seth's words were filled with unconcealable envy. Then let's head to the 999th level. Luo Feng smiled. Yes. Zeus, the female Golden Horn clan member, muttered inwardly. Just as she had expected, Luo Feng brought the female Golden Horn clansman Zeus up the stairs. The higher they went, the lesser the number of Golden Horn clansmen they could see on each level. After reaching the 800th level and above, there would often be a level with only one attendant, with no Golden Horn clansmen coming to choose their manuals. Seth said, our Golden Horn clan's management is strict. To enter each level of the tower, there's a strict limit of contribution points. Without enough contribution points, one doesn't even have the right to enter the higher levels. For example, to enter the 999th level, one's contribution points have to reach that level's cheapest manual, which is about 98 million contribution points. Only Your Majesty, because you can choose any manual for free, there's no requirement. Luo Feng smiled. Contribution points? He didn't have any contribution points at all. How does your Golden Horn clan calculate the contribution points? Luo Feng asked as he walked up the stairs. There are many sources of contribution points, like giving birth to a child for the clan, raising one's strength, reaching the domain lord level, sector lord level, and even breaking through to the undying level. All have contribution points as rewards. There's also joining the army to participate in wars for humanity and earn some points, which can be exchanged for contribution points. Anyway, as long as you contribute to our Golden Horn clan, you'll get contribution points. The female Golden Horn clansman Zeus said, contribution points are very useful. They can be used to buy secret techniques, weapons, treasures, and even a large number of guards. In short, many things that can't be bought with money can be bought with contribution points. Luo Feng was shocked within. The Golden Horn clan, as a vassal clan, had a strong sense of danger. The importance of contribution points had already risen to a terrifying level. Even giving birth required contribution points. And under such measures, a clan's cohesiveness would be extremely shocking. The energy they could unleash would be extremely terrifying. From the fact that so many Golden Horn clan youths wanted to challenge him, it was obvious. Unknowingly, they had already reached the 999th level. There was another guard at the entrance of the 999th level. His main job was to ensure that those choosing manuals had enough contribution points, and also to ensure that no clansman dared to damage the manuals. Human, Your Majesty Luo Feng. The old man at the entrance slightly bowed. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. This old man was already an undying, and was also the strongest of the members in charge of guarding the pagoda. Human, Your Majesty Luo Feng. The old man pointed at the bookshelves around him and said, the 999th floor is the highest floor of the entire secret codex tower. The most precious secret codex trial books are gathered here. There are a total of 128,120 secret codex trial books placed on the 999th floor. Your Highness can read and choose at will. Yes. Luo Feng walked in front of the tall bookshelves. Beside him, the female Golden Horn race member Zeus said, "Your Majesty Luo Feng, the manuals are arranged from the entrance of this staircase. The further in you go, the more contribution points you need to exchange for them. The one in the corner at the top is the most expensive manual in the entire 999th floor." Saying that, she pointed to the top right in front of her. "Ah." Luo Feng smiled, after which his entire being floated in mid-air and flew over. The bookshelves range from 60-90 m in height. The secret manuals placed on them were more spacious, at least much more spacious than the ones Luo Feng saw on the second and third levels. After all, there were only around 130,000 manuals on this level. Luo Feng passed through the bookshelves one after another, finally flying to the top of the bookshelf in the left corner. Luo Feng glanced over. The secret tomes on this bookshelf were obviously much more expensive. There were only 3 secret tomes on this 80 m tall bookshelf. It could be said to be the least of all the bookshelves. The price tag next to the 3 secret tomes was 168,000,000. The one below was 162,000,000, and the one below was 160,000,000. They were all priced at 1.6 billion. Luo Feng floated at the top of the bookshelf, immediately picking up the highest priced manual. The entire book seemed to be made out of a special metal. A secret tome made of F-grade metal? That's extravagant. Luo Feng was shocked, after which he shook his head and smiled. Right, the secret pagoda is an important place for the Golden Horn clan to pass down their knowledge. These manuals need to be passed down for trillions of years. Normal materials will definitely decay after a long time. Using F-grade metal isn't weird. Anyway, 1 yin MO planet ship's hybrid copper essence is enough to create countless manuals. To the Golden Horn clan, it's indeed nothing. He picked up this 2-ton metal book. On it was a name, Golden Soul. What's this? Normally, the pinnacle manuals would describe space or time, etc. A manual that only describes the gold laws shouldn't be that powerful. Luo Feng muttered within, because comprehending the gold laws would only make one a normal undying. However, comprehending the space laws or time laws, one could immediately become a high and mighty knight of the universe. Just like the 9-universe heavenly bridge required one to pass the 21st level. Only then would one have comprehended the space laws. And if one didn't comprehend space or time, and only comprehended the gold and wood laws, etc., even if one became an undying, he would only have the strength of the heavenly bridge's 10th level. Of course, just comprehending metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, light, it was extremely easy at the start. However, the final step was extremely difficult. This was also the reason why so many sector lords were unable to become undying. This was also the reason why Time Sector Lord Luo, despite having over 20,000 years of lifespan, didn't have the slightest confidence in taking the final step and becoming undying. The last step was extremely difficult. However, just obtaining the recognition of the gold origin laws was much easier. On the contrary, as one had to pass the 21st level to be considered to have comprehended the space laws, to obtain the recognition of the space laws was thousands to tens of thousands of times harder than comprehending the entire gold laws. To obtain the recognition of the origin laws, one had to completely comprehend one aspect of the laws to the limit. For example, teleportation. Anyway, obtaining the recognition of the space laws was an incredibly difficult thing. Golden Soul. Luo Feng flipped open the book and began to read. The Golden Soul was created by a great elder in the history of the Golden Horn tribe, Calafran. It mainly started with the law of gold and delved deep into the law of space. Combining the two, it created the extremely frightening Golden Soul. This was a set of pure fighting secret techniques. It wasn't meant to be enlightened. Just like the black hole evolution in the human treasure trove, that was also a battle technique. Battle-type secret arts were purely for explaining how to fight stronger. And the time-space scribbles that Luo Feng exchanged for was something that helped one better comprehend the origin laws, helping one to understand the Nine-Universe tablet. It belonged to two different styles. One belonged to the research category, while the other belonged to the battle category. Which was better? The benevolent see benevolence, the wise see wisdom. The battle techniques could raise one's battle strength. The research type could allow one to quickly raise one's comprehension of the origin laws, and this was after all the foundation. Golden Soul's battle techniques, from low to high, were split into 72 types. The first battle technique, the 35th battle technique, belonged to those below the level of Undying could use it. The 36th to the 70th technique belonged to Undying. Those below the Universe Knight level could use it. The 71st and 72nd could only be used by a Universe Knight. If one can comprehend the 35th level at Sector Lord level, one can completely kill normal Undyings, comparable to an official level Undying. Luo Feng looked at the explanation and couldn't help but take a deep cold breath. This power was indeed terrifying. The Nanshan armament's 9th level was only comparable to a normal Undying at its peak. And this was a complete battle technique. It could be used all the way to the Universe Knight level. Right now I have the Beast God statue and the time-space scribbles. However, these are all for research purposes to help me comprehend the origin laws. I don't have any true battle techniques. Luo Feng thought, and as a Sector Lord Pinnacle, I should create a suitable technique for myself. Naturally, I have to create a battle technique too. However, before I create it, learning a pinnacle battle technique will also help broaden my horizons. This is one of the choices. Luo Feng casually picked up the metallic book in his hand and continued to read other books. Luo Feng wasn't in a rush to decide which book to pick. Instead, he swiftly read through them one by one, confirming which suited him and finally choosing the best. Luo Feng stood before a row of bookshelves. A formless spirit energy spread out and simultaneously flipped through thousands of manuals. The many books were flipped open and read at the same time. Schwa. He finished reading a few thousand. Luo Feng used his spirit energy to close all the books and continued to read the thousands of manuals below. The Golden Horn Lady, Zeus, couldn't help but grit her teeth. This human majesty Luo Feng is simply too ruthless. Who would choose manuals like that? Flipping through thousands of manuals at once. That was too arrogant. Not long later, Luo Feng hugged the 3 books and walked to the edge of the 999th level where there were chairs. He sat on one and placed the 3 books there. Your Majesty Luo Feng. The Golden Horn Lady, Zeus, walked over and smiled. Have you chosen? Her gaze swept, and the first book was Golden Soul. She couldn't help but grit her teeth. Choosing the most expensive one, this human majesty was simply, it's about time, I'll choose from these 3. Luo Feng smiled and said. Simultaneously, he looked at the 3 manuals. These 3 books all had names engraved on them. They were Golden Soul, 36 levels of Nascent God, and Hiroto's sayings. The prices were respectively 68 billion contribution points, 910 million, and 100 million contribution points. All 3 have their own benefits. Which one should I choose? If only I could choose all 3. Luo Feng had such a thought, after which he shook his head and laughed. He was simply too greedy. His monthly votes were being chased. Danger! Brothers and sisters with monthly votes, please support Tomato. Tomato needs everyone's support. Chapter 671. The 3 manuals all had different prices. Golden Soul was a battle-type technique. Its power was extremely strong. 36 levels of the god was created by the Golden Horn race's greatest senior Elder Hiroto. It could be said that the Nanshan armament was a simplified version of the 36 levels of the god. 36 levels of the god was a battle-type technique. At the same time, it could be said to be a research-type technique, studying the fusion of space and gold. This technique had a total of 36 levels. The weakest, first level, as long as one had some comprehension of the space and gold laws, they could use it. The strongest 36th level had roughly the strength of an official level Undying. Overall, the attack power of the 36 levels of the god was very average. The strongest 36th level had extremely high requirements, and it was only comparable to an official level Undying. For such a level of manual, even if it was for battle and research, it was extremely beneficial to the weak. However, its price wasn't very high. A normal price of 100 million contribution points was already not bad. However, because it was created by Hiroto, hence it was priced at 910 million. Hiroto's sayings. After Hiroto's disappearance, the undying disciples under him had recorded down all the teachings and sayings of their teacher back then. The entire sayings were very rich, with many explanations. At the same time, there were many examples of techniques. Because it was compiled and not a secret manual left behind by Hiroto himself, this sayings of Hiroto was at most used as a reference for cultivation. It was a supplementary secret manual, and even with Hiroto's relationship, the price was a round number, 100 million contribution points. Which should I choose? Without a doubt, Golden Soul is the absolute strongest battle technique of the three. There are a total of 72 types. Even the night-level techniques are included. Luo Feng thought, the 36 levels of the god is very beneficial to my training, as well as creating my own spirit weapon in the future. According to Hiroto's own introduction, this 36 levels of the god is the most solid foundation of his school. Of course, its battle strength is obviously much weaker. It's just a strengthened version of the Nanshin armament. Its power is only comparable to an official level. It's at least 2 grades lower than Golden Soul. Hiroto's sayings is beneficial to training. However, it doesn't have a system of battle techniques. However, many of them were personally taught by Hiroto back then. The effects definitely won't be bad, just that it's not a system. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. All three had their strengths and weaknesses. Which one should I choose? Golden Soul is a series of combat secret arts that can be cultivated to the highest level, while Hiroto is purely supportive. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows as he pondered. The 36 levels of the Evolved God has both. Only its strongest attack is only comparable to an official. It's obviously the basics of the basics. If only I could get the complete manual Hiroto created, that would be great. Hiroto had a secret codex that he had created. It was very complicated and profound. Unfortunately, the secret canon pagoda did not have this set of absolute art. There was only the basic chapter of this set of absolute art, the 36 levels of nascent god. Yes, I've decided. Luo Feng suddenly stood up. The golden horn Lady Seth, who had been standing obediently beside, was shocked. Your Majesty, Luo Feng, you've already chosen? This one. Luo Feng picked up the one in the center. 36 levels of the Evolved God? The golden horn Lady Seth was slightly shocked, glancing suspiciously at Luo Feng. She had thought that this human genius would choose the most expensive Golden Soul. Your Majesty, Luo Feng, I'll report the news of you choosing the 36 levels of the Evolved God. You can head to the first level of the pagoda and wait. I believe the manuals will be sent over very soon. All right. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Following the stairs down, he floated like the wind. 10 birds in the forest are not as good as 1 bird in the hand. Luo Feng thought. Even though the Golden Soul is powerful, able to have techniques that even a Universe Knight can unleash. However, a Universe Knight? How long would it take for me to train to a Universe Knight? How many years would that take? Once I reach that level, with my power and vision, I'll be able to buy even better techniques from the Virtual Universe Company. This Evolved God, 36 levels, is after all the foundational manual of Hiroto's absolute art. Back then he created this powerful foundational manual, after which he simplified it and created the Nanshin armament. The Nanshin armament can be spread throughout the universe, allowing many races to use it, and Hiroto is the greatest being in the Golden Horn race. The foundation volume of his unique skill should be the best foundation volume among all the secret cultivation books of the Golden Horn clan, even though it's weak. But to me, it's even better than the Golden Soul. 10 birds in the forest are not as good as one bird in the hand. What you can't see is ultimately unrealistic. The Golden Soul had a total of 72 techniques from the 36th onwards. Only Undyings could unleash them. And he had chosen the hardest path of the Golden Horned Beast. To become an Undying was extremely difficult. Once I become an Undying, I'll naturally have better techniques. Hence the Golden Soul to me. Only the first 35 techniques are effective, and these 35 naturally can't compare to the Evolved God 36 levels. Their attacks may be similar, however in terms of research and creating spirit weapons, they're far from it. When Luo Feng was choosing his techniques in the Tower, Sacred City, within the Chief Elder Palace, within the Dark Palace, Humble sat there quietly, his eyes gloomy, almost like a volcano about to erupt. The surrounding space seemed to have frozen. My beloved brother, after being defeated by that human genius, have you completely given up? A purple-armored black-skinned youth walked in. His looks were very similar to Humble. Only his aura was different. Humble was the violent type, while this black-skinned youth's eyes were cold. His entire being was proud and aloof. Only occasionally when his eyes moved, a sense of killing intent could be felt. Big brother. Humble stood up, his gaze complicated. He lowered his head. I've lost. I've lost in front of 1 billion Sacred City clansmen. Losing this battle is nothing. However, if you really continue to give up like this, then teacher will be very disappointed. The purple-armored youth said coldly. Teacher? Humble was stunned, even though they belonged to the Chief Elder Palace. However, their teacher wasn't a senior elder himself. What kind of status did a senior elder have? At most, he would occasionally give pointers to geniuses to get a senior elder to accept a disciple. Extremely difficult, extremely difficult. Pull yourself together. The purple-armored youth said softly. You've lost. This big brother will just have to act and defeat him. Humble's eyes gleamed, nodding. Big brother, if you act, you'll definitely be able to defeat him. His strength is only slightly stronger than mine. He's far from being your match. Humble nodded. Suddenly a silhouette rushed in from outside. Seeing Humble and Humble, this pair of genius brothers, that silhouette stopped. It was a god palace guard. He bowed respectfully. Leader Humble, we've already received news. The human genius Luo Feng has left his residence and entered the secret pagoda. I estimate it won't be long before he comes out. Humble's eyes gleamed, saying softly, my chance is here. So, Humble became a blur and swiftly left. Big brother. The younger brother guessed what his big brother wanted to do. His heart couldn't help but blaze, immediately shouting and becoming a blur and rushing out. Within the first level of the secret pagoda, Luo Feng, Elders Si Fan Shi, Kashna, Dylan, and the 5 human sector lords sat in a corner to rest. Rumble. A strong pressure emanated. A group of blurry silhouettes appeared in the hall, condensing. It was the 12 Golden Horn Undyings. Your Majesty Luo Feng, they're here to deliver the manual. Elder Si Fan Chi said softly. Luo Feng smiled as he stood up and walked over. The 12 Golden Horn Undyings emitted their auras. The leader was a green-skinned lady with an aura no weaker than Elder Si Fan Chi. She said hoarsely, Human Your Majesty Luo Feng, we're under the orders of the elders to deliver this manual. We hope you can read it here. After you're done, you can pass it to us. At the same time, we hope that after you leave our Liceo world, you won't spread this. That's for sure. Luo Feng nodded. The green-skinned woman flipped her hand and a thick 30 centimeters thick metal book that looked like a chest appeared. That metal book immediately floated up and flew out of her palm, finally floating in front of Luo Feng. Luo Feng nodded and received the book. 36 levels of Evolved God. The cover had a clear name. Luo Feng immediately flipped it open and began to read. This manual was the foundational part of Hiroto's absolute art. Even though it was only the foundational part, it allowed Luo Feng to feel the absolute being's endless wisdom. It's actually like this. Back then, when Hiroto created the Nanshan armament, he actually created it this way. So, creating a technique that's suitable for oneself can be done with such a special method. Unbelievable, it's so easy. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed as he read, his face flushed red. This was the first time he saw a space and gold path spirit reader absolute art in such a long time. From every bit of the absolute art, Luo Feng could feel the absolute being's endless wisdom. That high and mighty casual writing already pointed to the essence. Just like the creator of the Nine-Universe tablet, when he wrote the time-space scribbles, he could easily create hundreds and thousands of techniques to interpret any picture. 2. It's too worth it. A set of secret battle techniques that can be used by universe supremacy is only worth 6 billion contribution points. And this foundational part is sold for 910 million contribution points. Looks like it's not just because of Hiroto's name. This foundational part is indeed a surprise. If I had the entire set, it would definitely be worth up to 10 billion or even 100 billion contribution points. Luo Feng thought, write the entire Golden Horn race's core manuals. If I were the race manager, I wouldn't leave them in the tower. I would still need some trump cards. Hiroto's complete set of absolute arts should have been kept. Luo Feng was getting more and more excited as he read. It was worth it. It was too worth it. He flipped to the last page in one breath. On the last page, there was only one paragraph. Spirit Reader Master's greatest advantage is being able to control as many spirit weapons as possible. Hence, the higher the spirit energy amplifier, the better. If you don't have a spirit energy amplifier of 300 at the pinnacle of the Sector Lord realm, then give up on the Spirit Reader path. Give up on this manual of mine. It doesn't suit you. You're not suitable to become a true spirit reader either. Chapter 672. Luo Feng closed the book, his eyes filled with a hard-to-hide glee. His teacher, Tru Yin, was a super strong man, but compared to Hiroto, the greatest leader in the history of the Golden Horn clan, Tru Yin was much weaker. In Tru, Yin walked the path of a fighter, and didn't specialize in space or gold. Hence, when Luo Feng read Hiroto's foundational manual, he immediately felt enlightened, as though a whole new world had opened up before him. He had never thought that a spirit reader could train like this. He had never thought that a spirit weapon could be created like this. He had never thought that techniques could be created like this. This is what a spirit reader should do. This is what a true spirit reader should do. Luo Feng praised, my spirit energy amplitude is over 3,200. Many Emperor-level undyings can't match up to me. According to Senior Hiroto, the most important aspect of a spirit reader is spirit energy amplitude. His foundational manual, too, has a high requirement for spirit energy amplitude. Foundational manual 36 levels. What he controlled were ordinary blades or small swords without any nomological runes. It was very normal for him to control thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of blades at once. Therefore, the higher his psyche power amplitude, the better. It tested his control, nomological comprehension, mystic technique creation, and many other aspects. Babata. Nanshin armament 36 levels, you too memorize it. Luo Feng's consciousness connected to Babata. Large amounts of words and information swiftly exchanged. With a consciousness calculation speed comparable to a quantum computer, in an instant, Babata obtained a complete manual. Secret Manual Tower. Luo Feng controlled the golden book in his hand, flying it to the group of 12 undyings. Your Majesty, are you sure you've memorized everything? The green-skinned female undying said hoarsely. Luo Feng nodded. The 12 undyings nodded to Luo Feng, after which they all became blurs and vanished. Let's go. Luo Feng turned and said, Your Majesty seems to be very happy. Dylan walked beside him. My rewards are huge. Luo Feng smiled. Beside, the Emperor-level undying Fan Qi was elated. Whether it was studying the tablet or a manual, they were both extremely valuable. However, the Golden Horn tribe allowed Luo Feng to obtain it for free. This was basically an investment. The greater Luo Feng's gains, the higher Luo Feng's position in the human race in the future, he would naturally remember this favor. If Luo Feng was an ungrateful wretch who didn't remember his kindness after getting some benefits, the Golden Horn clan couldn't do anything about it. It was purely an investment. The main entrance of the secret scripture tower was always open. Luo Feng and the group headed out. It's the crazy young men of the Golden Horn clan again. Luo Feng looked at the group of domain Lord Level 9 youths gathered outside the tower and was shocked. That's weird. Why aren't they challenging me anymore? Usually, when these crazy young men of the Golden Horn clan see me, they all challenge me crazily, don't they? What? The thousands of Region Lord Realm youths gathered outside the secret Codex Pagoda suddenly parted, revealing two black-skinned youths. Beitu, Luo Feng recognized one of them immediately, following which his gaze landed on the other black-skinned youth beside Beitu. This black-skinned youth had a very natural arrogance about him, similar to Bolin. Normal, invincible, absolute geniuses all had this sort of aura. The other Golden Horn clan member beside him looks very similar to Beitu. Is that his brother from the legends, the big brother of the Beitu brothers? Beitu? Your Majesty Luo Feng, that is Beitu. Elder Si Fan Chi communicated. Beitu was dressed in purple armor. His eyes were cold as he examined Luo Feng, who was standing on the stairs of the secret scripture tower. His voice was filled with killing intent. Human Luo Feng, I heard you defeated my brother Beitu. You indeed have some strength. I, Beitu, today in front of the secret scripture tower, formally challenge you. I wonder if you dare to accept my challenge? The thousands of Golden Horn clan youths all stared at Luo Feng. Beitu's eyes were filled with killing intent and arrogance. Luo Feng glanced at him. Let's go, Luo Feng said, after which he avoided the thousands of youths and headed into the distance. This caused Elder Si Fan Chi, Dylan, and the others to be shocked. The thousands of youths were even more stunned. The human Luo Feng actually avoided the battle. It was normal that the human didn't want to fight them. However, Beitu, he was the #1 domain Lord level genius of the Golden Horn clan. Even if Luo Feng didn't dare to fight, he should at least give him some face. Human Luo Feng. Beitu's eyes gleamed coldly as he roared fiercely. Luo Feng, however, continued to walk into the distance, not stopping at all. What, you don't dare? Afraid? Beitu roared furiously. Defeating my brother, that's nothing. If you defeat me, I dare say that none of the domain Lord level 9 members of the Golden Horn clan will ever challenge you again. And if you don't accept my challenge, then the Golden Horn clan will never respect you. Luo Feng brought Dylan and the others along the street. He couldn't be bothered with Beitu's roars. Your Majesty? Dylan looked curiously at Luo Feng. I don't wish to fight him. Luo Feng shook his head. It's fine for you to reject the other Golden Horn clan members before. However, you rejected this Beitu. He is, after all, the most exceptional domain Lord level of the Golden Horn clan. If you don't defeat him, then the countless members of the Golden Horn clan will never respect you. They will definitely say that you bully the weak and fear the strong. Dylan communicated. Of course, if your Majesty doesn't have any confidence and accepts the challenge, you will probably lose. Indeed, it's better not to accept. Dylan, what nonsense are you thinking? Luo Feng laughed involuntarily. Yes, those familiar with his background and growth would all think that he wasn't Beitu's match. However, in truth, after reaching Sector Lord level and studying in the Saint Tablet Pagoda for a month, just his normal origin law comprehension had already reached the Heavenly Bridge's 9th level. The moment his spirit energy amplifier of 3,200 was completely unleashed, coupled with his natural ability strengthening and the blood river energy, it would multiply. Defeating Beitu, Luo Feng had 100% confidence. However, the moment he did, then the Virtual Universe Company's information network would definitely know. And with Dylan's relationship with his teacher True Yin Emperor, his teacher would know too. Him defeating Beitu could still be explained by his identity as a blood warrior and some special encounters. However, to defeat Beitu, it would be troublesome to explain. Because of some special encounters, there are people whose strength explodes. Just like the geniuses in the history of the universe. Which one of them didn't have any special encounters? If I were to reveal my strength again, I'm afraid the Virtual Universe Company would think that I had some special encounter. Luo Feng thought. Actually, that's right. I acquired the Demon Note inheritance in Demon Note Mountain, and my spirit energy amplifier reached over 3,200. It was indeed a special encounter. In terms of origin law comprehension, he was only at the 9th level. His spirit energy amplifier of 3,200 was his greatest reliance on defeating Beitu. If I can't reveal myself, I shouldn't reveal myself. My Demon Note inheritance was originally unintentionally taken up Mist Emperor's slot. Luo Feng sighed. I'll stay low profile for now. After training for a few hundred years, even if my strength explodes, it won't attract too much attention. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Luo Feng and the group returned to their training quarters. Dylan, Elder C. Fan Shi. I'll first meditate for a period of time and organize the manuals I've acquired. After that, we'll leave. Luo Feng said, following which he entered his study. The Saint Tablet had been studied, and the manuals had been acquired. With the benefits in hand, of course he had to leave. Luo Feng sat crossed-legged in his study, constantly recalling the detailed information of the 36 levels of the Evolver God 36 levels. Simultaneously, a thread of his consciousness entered the virtual universe network, entering his own training grounds in the primal region and beginning his training. Research, try, verify. Then with the beast god statue and the ancient pictures, he would compare and comprehend them. Training a manual required one to first grasp the entire manual and think clearly on how to better study it. Only after that would one seriously train. As the saying goes, sharpening the knife won't delay the work of chopping wood. Luo Feng was currently studying the entire manual to sharpen his knife. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. The requirements are actually so high. Using a normal blade to attack is indeed extremely difficult. However, Senior Hiroto's unique training method, not only does it have the effect of studying the origin laws, it also has the effect of researching and creating weapons. It also has the effect of creating techniques and attacks. It's indeed very powerful. Luo Feng smiled and stood up. From now on, I'll study this manual from the angle of creating techniques. After which, Luo Feng opened the door of his study and walked out. This set of secret manuals had several cultivation routes. Any path could be trained to the highest level. As Luo Feng's spirit energy amplitude was extremely strong, he decided to study from the most difficult angle of creating techniques. When Luo Feng walked into the courtyard, silhouettes immediately appeared. Elder C. Fan Shi. Luo Feng said directly, "We'll leave immediately. First, we'll head to the Elder Palace to thank and bid farewell. This time, the palace has helped me greatly. It gave me the chance to study and even allowed me to pick any manual. I can't just leave without saying a word." Elder C. Fan Chi smiled and nodded. "Before leaving the Saint City, I should make a trip to the Elder Palace. However, Your Majesty, Luo Feng, there's something I should say." "What's up?" Luo Feng was curious. Elder C. Fan Chi looked at Dylan next to him. Dylan said with a smile, "Your Highness, during the 3 months you have been cultivating in seclusion, many members of the Golden Horn clan have been living outside our residence. Apparently, Your Highness, your refusal of Beichio's challenge has made many fanatical members of the Golden Horn clan unhappy." "Many?" Luo Feng was shocked. He didn't feel it at all. "In order not to disturb your training, I've isolated the sounds around your study." Dylan said, "Thanks." Luo Feng nodded. Not only were there large amounts of Golden Horn clansmen, that genius called Beichio has been sitting cross-legged on the streets outside our training quarters these past 3 months. Dylan said. Luo Feng was shocked. "He's been sitting on the streets, right outside the entrance of our quarters. For a whole 3 months, he hasn't moved at all." Dylan smiled bitterly. "Hence, even now, there are still over 10,000 Golden Horn clansmen sitting cross-legged outside." Luo Feng was speechless. "Let's go," Luo Feng said. Outside, Dylan and Elder C. Fan Chi looked at Luo Feng. "No," Luo Feng shook his head. "Ignore them. We'll fly straight to the Elder Palace." Chapter 673. The Sacred Land, Luo Feng's training quarters. The streets outside were completely blocked. Large amounts of Golden Horn clansmen sat cross-legged on the streets, and in front of Luo Feng's entrance sat the purple-armored black-skinned youth Bei Qiu. Bei Qiu closed his eyes and sat cross-legged. So, 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 so. A beam of light suddenly flew out from the training quarters and swiftly flew into the distance. They flew away. The human Luo Feng is among them. They actually flew away. Over 10,000 Golden Horn clansmen quickly broke out into a commotion, simultaneously standing up and pointing at the distant horizon. Watching the beam of light disappear into the horizon, they couldn't help but be enraged. Bei Qiu, who was sitting cross-legged, opened his eyes and watched coldly. His eyes seemed to be burning with flames as he muttered softly, "The human Luo Feng is extremely cowardly." Rumble. Bei Qiu became a beam of light and flew towards the Elder God Palace. His younger brother and a few other followers also followed. While Luo Feng was causing waves in the Golden Horn clan's sacred city of Laseo world, in the distant Savage Universe country territory, in a dark and silent space, there were no stars or planets, only interstellar dust that occasionally flew past. Within this space's corresponding space layer, a vast and majestic god country. The boundless golden land rose and fell, and there were many people living in the grasslands and forests. There were also many high-tech buildings and many high-tech cities were built. Nearly 100 billion people were scattered in hundreds of cities, and there was a majestic statue of a god in each city. Countless people came to worship the god. The region where the humans lived was just a small part of the god country. About 30 million kilometers away from the human region, there was a mountain range that pierced through the clouds. The mountain range was over 1,000,000 km tall, and at the peak of this mountain range, there was a shrine that shone with a glaring golden light. The shrine was 100,000 kilometers tall. There were many silhouettes within. Obviously, there were many people within. Within the shrine, how many huge and different-looking bug clansman warriors walked within shrine. Occasionally, one could even see a few golden bug clansmen, undying bug clansmen. Other than the insectoid warriors, there were also many humans in white robes, gold robes, and armor. These humans and the insectoid warriors often crossed paths, but they were all fine. At the highest level of the temple, the 10-kilometer-tall insectoid mother nest stood in the center of the highest level like a damaged meteorite. Large numbers of golden insectoid warriors gathered around it. At a glance, there were no less than 10,000. Master, the 3 golden-robed humans were surrounded by a large number of insectoid warriors, but they bowed respectfully. "Why did you call me?" A gentle voice that sounded like a peerless beauty whispering into his ear reverberated throughout the hall. "Master," the leading gold-robed man said respectfully, "one of the undyings in the Golden Horn clan's Lasua world has just sent news that the human genius Luo Feng is currently in the sacred city of Lasua world." "Number 9? The gentle voice asked. "Yes," the leading gold-robed man said respectfully. "There's one more thing I need to tell Master. Number 9 Luo Feng's improvement in strength is shocking. He publicly defeated the Golden Horn clan domain Lord Level 9 genius Bei Bing in the dojo outside the sacred city. That Bei Bing's origin law comprehension, according to the human classification, has the ability to pass the Heavenly Bridge's 9th level. And Luo Feng only barely had the ability to pass the 8th level on his first attempt. Do you have a video?" The gentle voice asked. "That battle was a public battle. There are many videos. The undyings we've placed in the Golden Horn clan Lasua world have also sent a video." The gold-robed man pointed in mid-air. Immediately a projection appeared, and on it, the entire battle between Luo Feng and Bei Bing was broadcasted. The battle was one-sided. Bei Bing completely suppressed Luo Feng. Finally, Luo Feng exploded and defeated Bei Bing. The viewing was over. The Human Virtual Universe Company, among the universe-level geniuses, there's only one that reached the 8th level. The gold-robed man said respectfully, "And this Luo Feng In a short few decades, at least in terms of origin law comprehension, he's already surpassed the strongest of the universe-level geniuses. According to this speed, in the domain lord qualification battles in a few hundred years, he'll probably still be able to enter the primal region. This improvement speed is simply too terrifying. In human history, only the most exceptional, tens of thousands of eras, even hundreds of thousands of eras, would occasionally produce such an absolute genius. The gentle voice ordered, "Raise his rank him number 3, the other targets will be ranked lower." "Yes," the gold-robed man replied respectfully. "At the same time, order the undyings we've placed in Lasuo world. Instruct one of them to try." The gentle voice said, "If we can kill Luo Feng, sacrificing a normal undying isn't much. However, our bug clan has too few people in the Golden Horn clan Lasuo world. At most, we can only expose one undying. We can't sacrifice anymore. If we're unable to kill him, then we'll wait for the next time." "Yes," the gold-robed man replied respectfully. "I'll immediately send the order to the Ganwu Universe country's members, and also to the Golden Horn clan's members." "Go," the gentle voice said. The 3 golden-robed men bowed at the same time and left together. At the edge of the Ganwu Universe country's territory, Universe Secret Region, Lasuo World. Sacred City. In one of the secluded residences. Kill Luo Feng, no matter the cost? The Golden Horn, undying clad in gray rock armor, sat there, chanting within, "No matter the cost, no matter the cost." Hua. His eyes suddenly opened, a pair of blood-red pupils staring coldly ahead. "Luo Feng?" The Golden Horn, undying, muttered softly. "Elder, elder." A Golden Horn youth rushed in from outside, shouting, "I've just received news. The human genius Luo Feng didn't even fight with Beiqiu. Instead, he immediately flew out of his residence and headed towards the Elder God Palace. This Luo Feng really doesn't have any guts at all. Meeting the powerful Beiqiu, he's so afraid he doesn't even dare to fight." The Golden Horn youth gritted his teeth. The gray-armored man ordered solemnly, "You may leave." "Yes, Elder." The Golden Horn youth replied respectfully. "Elder God Palace?" The gray-armored man became a blur and swiftly flew out of his residence, heading straight for the Elder God Palace. The human territory was vast. The bug race and humans, these 2 pinnacle races, have been fighting for over 1 trillion years. The bug race had long planted spies in the various universe countries and starfields. The bug race's soul invasion and soul control abilities were simply too terrifying. Even human undyings couldn't escape from their control. On the contrary, as the Golden Horn race was all gathered in Lasuo world, the bug race normally didn't have a chance at all. Only when some Golden Horn warriors helped the humans in battle would they occasionally have a chance to swiftly invade another Golden Horn warrior's soul, and then let that Golden Horn warrior follow his race back. Only then would they be able to plant a chess piece. Lasuo world was vast, and the bug race had too few spies, resulting in their lack of information. After Luo Feng caused such a huge commotion in the sacred city, only then did he attract the attention of one of the chess pieces to the sacred city, finally confirming Luo Feng's actions. The efficiency was extremely low. Luo Feng and his group landed at the foot of the Elder God Palace mountain range, after which they headed towards the palace. At this time, Luo Feng didn't realize at all that in such a secret place like the Golden Horn race, there would be assassinations from other races. After all, where the Golden Horn race lived, even many human undyings didn't know about it. Even many undyings didn't know that the human race had the Golden Horn race as a vassal race. If even the humans knew so little, it would definitely be extremely difficult for the other races to plant spies there. Even so, Luo Feng was still very cautious. After all, he was currently sent out as a supervisor envoy. Assassinations from other races were very common. This was also one of the reasons why Luo Feng didn't want to reveal too much of his strength. Defeating Beiqiu had already caught the attention of the other races. The moment he defeated Beiqiu, the other races would probably spare no expense to kill him. "Elder Si Fanqi," Luo Feng said, "You go ahead. If the elder is willing to meet me, I'll enter. All right. Elder Si-Fan Chi easily entered the palace. Luo Feng and his group stood outside the palace. The guards outside looked curiously at Luo Feng and his group. Obviously, they rarely saw any humans. Your Majesty Luo Feng, the elder wants to meet you. Come in. Elder Si-Fan Chi's voice resounded in Luo Feng's ears. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed, ordering, "The others stay here. Dylan, follow me in." Luo Feng brought Dylan and walked straight into the main entrance of the palace. The guards had obviously received the order and didn't stop the two of them. The temperature of Lasheo world is extremely low. The temperature within the palace is even lower. Luo Feng walked within the god palace. It felt like he was walking in a cold cave of Demon Note Mountain. Beside him were the guards, servants, and even the elders and disciples of the palace. After walking for a while, he arrived at a quiet palace. This palace, the servants, disciples, and guards all didn't dare approach. At the entrance of the palace stood two undyings, one male and one female. Human Luo Feng, the elder is waiting for you in the palace. The male undying said. Ichim. Luo Feng nodded, after which he brought Dylan and stepped through the door, entering the huge palace. The moment he entered the palace, it was like stepping into another space and time. Everything outside was isolated, leaving only this cold and strict palace. Below the palace stood 10 undyings, all of them looking rather respectful. At the top of the palace sat an old man wearing a senior elder crown, star robe, his chest exposed. Sitting there, the surrounding space and time revolved around him. His gaze was filled with boundless power, making one unable to resist. Human Luo Feng greets the Golden Horn Elder. Luo Feng bowed deeply. Expressing his respect, Dylan followed beside him. To a mighty existence like the Universe Venerables, respect was a matter of course. P.S. First update has arrived. Chapter 674. Within the palace, the old man seated in the throne gazed down at Luo Feng, smiling. It's been a long time since I've seen a young human. Your age has shocked me. I can't believe you were able to defeat that lowly child. Elder, only barely won. Luo Feng said respectfully. Within, he was shocked. His teacher True Yin had once told him that the absolute beings of the universe could tell with a glance how long a life form had lived for. Even undyings with eternal lifespans, those beings could tell with a glance how long they had lived for. This elder could probably tell that his lifespan was only about 300 years. Indeed, an elder stationed in the sacred city. Luo Feng was shocked within. The Golden Horn clan has many elders. To be able to be stationed in the sacred city, he's probably one of the strongest. Have you studied the Saint Tablet? The elder gazed below, smiling as he asked, almost like he was talking to a disciple. I've studied it. I've benefited a lot from it. Thank you, elder, for giving me such a chance. Luo Feng said respectfully. A burst of hearty laughter echoed in the hall. The patriarch said with a bright smile, Little fella, as far as I know, you and the great leader of the Golden Horn clan, Hiroto, are walking the same path. You are both spirit reader masters, and you both cultivate the law of space and the law of metal. The Saint Tablet benefits to you are indeed greater. Luo Feng bowed slightly, obediently listening to the elder's words. Do you still wish to study the Saint Tablet? The elder looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng was slightly awkward. The Saint Tablet benefits to studying the origin laws are indeed great. If I say I don't want to study it, I'd be lying to you. Haha, I'll give you a chance. Little punk, if you can unleash the Nanshin armament's 9th level before undying, you'll have the right to enter the tower again. The elder smiled. If you can successfully break through to undying, you can still enter the tower once. The time will be the same as this time. Luo Feng was shocked. Whether or not you can enter the tower will depend on your ability. The elder smiled. Thank you, elder. Luo Feng said respectfully. Ha! The elder laughed heartily. There are requirements for these two opportunities. If you don't have enough talent or ability, entering the Saint Tablet Tower would be an insult to Elder Hiroto. Luo Feng exclaimed within. This golden horn elder was stationed in the sacred city. As a universe night level being, he was actually so friendly to him, giving him a chance to study from the start and even giving him the chance to choose any manual for free. All right, this golden horn elder is probably like this because he saw that I was able to defeat this lowly being, hence he values me more. Luo Feng immediately understood. At the start, he gave me the chance to study, allowing me to choose any manual. But now, he's giving me 2 more chances to comprehend it. Although there are prerequisites, if I can't even meet these requirements, I'm afraid this grand elder won't care about me anymore. Founding members were the highest existences in the Golden Horn clan. Even if it was an emperor-level undying, these elders wouldn't care too much. So-called human geniuses, the elders similarly wouldn't care. However, Luo Feng's battle with the lowly being had caused this elder with detailed information on Luo Feng to swiftly deduce that Luo Feng's potential was shocking. Hence, his attitude was so friendly. Giving help in times of need was always better than adding icing on the cake. Luo Feng was currently a small figure. Since the elder was so polite, he was naturally grateful. If Luo Feng became an absolute being amongst humanity in the future, it would be much harder to make Luo Feng grateful. After greeting the elder, Luo Feng, Si Fan Shi, and Dylan left the palace. The group of other undyings left too. Human Luo Feng. A voice resounded. Luo Feng turned to look. The one who spoke was a man dressed in a loose long robe. His appearance was similar to the elder. You are? Luo Feng looked at the one before him. Your Majesty Luo Feng. This is the official level undying Tu Calo. Si Fan Shi smiled and introduced. Elder Tu Calo is the elder's son, and also the only elder son to become an undying. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Tu Calo, who was dressed in a loose robe, said indifferently, Human Luo Feng, the lowly being you defeated and his brother Beiqiu, they are both my disciples. Luo Feng thought within. Lowly being Beiqiu's teacher? You defeated lowly being. I have nothing to say. I can only praise you. Tu Calo stared at Luo Feng. However, my disciple, Beiqiu challenged you. I wonder why you didn't accept? My disciple has been waiting outside your residence for 3 months, yet he hasn't received any reply from you. Even if you rejected, you should at least give our Golden Horn clan some face. Luo Feng smiled. Elder Tu Calo, so you were Beiqiu's teacher. Honestly, it was already very hard for me to defeat him. I heard Elder Si Fan Shi say that Beiqiu was more than 10 times stronger than his brother. I had no confidence at all. Naturally, I didn't accept the challenge and lost face. You admit defeat? Tu Calo was shocked as he looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Yes, right now I am indeed far from being a match for Beiqiu. I can only wait for my training to get stronger before accepting Beiqiu's challenge. As for my actions, it's mainly because of the large numbers of youth from the Golden Horn clan challenging me. I was scared too. I hope Elder Tu Calo can forgive me. Tu Calo stared wide-eyed at Luo Feng. He was the only undying among the elder's many children. Over the long years, the elder's other relatives had all died, leaving only Tu Calo as a child. Even though Tu Calo was only an official level god, due to his special identity, his position was extremely high. The matter with Beiqiu and Beiqiu made Tu Calo very unhappy with Luo Feng. However, he didn't dare cause trouble in front of his father in the palace. However, the moment he left the palace, he wanted to find trouble with Luo Feng. However, Luo Feng admitted defeat. Luo Feng admitted defeat. He admitted that he was no match for Beiqiu. What to do? Tu Calo blinked. When my strength increases and I have the confidence to fight Beiqiu, the moment I come to the Golden Horn clan, I will definitely fight Beiqiu. As for now, my strength is simply not enough. Luo Feng bowed. Elder Tu Calo, if there's nothing else, I'll be leaving. Tu Calo could only nod. Luo Feng politely brought Dylan and Elder Si Fan Shi away. Tu Calo stood there for a long time, speechless. Times as Luo Feng walked within the palace. He met Bei Qiu and Bei Jiang, who were returning to the palace. Human Luo Feng, please accept my challenge. Bei Qiu blocked Luo Feng's path. I still have things to do. Please move aside. Luo Feng said. Dylan beside immediately released his undying energy. The powerful undying energy swept Bei Qiu to the side like dust, while Luo Feng, Dylan, and Elder Si Fan Chi swiftly left. Bei Qiu was furious. Luo Feng walked within the winding and serene palace, thinking within, since I've studied the Saint Tablet and acquired the Evolved God level 36, then I should leave. At most, I'll make a trip to the Pagoda Department and then return to the Milky Way Galaxy. After this, I'll first exchange for the 10,000 soul control technique. That technique is ridiculously expensive. However, to control the Bug Clan Mother Nest, it's worth it. After training on Earth for a period of time, after I've completely controlled the Bug Clan Mother Nest, I can make a trip to Primal Chaos City and train there for a period of time. I have a few chances to study the 9 Universe Tablet. I can use them too. The core members of the Virtual Universe Company all had the right to enter Primal Chaos City. When they first joined Universe Level, they had the chance to train in Primal Chaos City for 30 years for free. This was also the first time Luo Feng and the others went to Primal Chaos City. When they were Domain Lord level, they had the chance to train in Primal Chaos City for 300 years for free. When they were Sector Lord level, they had the chance to train in Primal Chaos City for 3,000 years for free. This was all free. This was the privilege of a core disciple. Also, after entering Primal Chaos City, the Domain Lord level could train for 300 years for free. However, Luo Feng could train for 500 years, 1,000 years. The only price was the extra time would require points to exchange. The longer he trained, the more points he would spend. If he had enough points, he could even train for 10,000 years, 100,000 years in Primal Chaos City. The moment he used up all his points, Primal Chaos City would force him to leave. While Luo Feng was thinking about the future, he brought Dylan and Elder Si Fan Chi out of the palace. Your Majesty. The 5 Sector Lords and Kashna all welcomed him. Let's go. Luo Feng ordered. Human Your Majesty Luo Feng. Human Your Majesty Luo Feng. A very passionate voice resounded. Luo Feng raised his head and looked, only to see a blurry silhouette swiftly rushing over. After which, it condensed into a man dressed in gray rock armor about 10 m away from Luo Feng. His eyes were like a pair of red gems. These red pupils looked at Luo Feng and smiled. My name is Kubu. Kubu. Elder Si Fan Chi shouted shocked. Elder Si Fan Chi. The gray-armored man bowed to show respect. Luo Feng looked suspiciously at Si Fan Chi. Si Fan Chi smiled. Your Majesty Luo Feng. This is Elder Kubu, an undying from the Tua Yin tribe. He's participated in numerous battles between humans and other races. He has many human friends. Luo Feng looked at this undying called Kubu. During this period of time in the sacred city, I've heard about your Majesty Luo Feng's matters. I didn't dare disturb you. I reckon you'll be leaving soon, hence I've come to send you off. The gray-armored man smiled. To be able to see a human in my home, it's really a joyous matter. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. I wonder where your Majesty has been since coming to our Lasheo world. The gray-armored man smiled. I've been in the sacred city, and the Pagoda Department. Luo Feng said. Elder Kubu said, Your Majesty Luo Feng, our Golden Horn race's home Lasheo world has an incredibly long history. There are many miraculous places, and many places that are extremely beneficial for training. You've actually never been there before? Chapter 675. Are there any special places? Luo Feng asked casually, but he wasn't too interested, because the world of Lashalt was a vast continent that was constructed and not formed from the universe. Even if there were some treasures left behind by the powerful warriors of the Golden Horn clan, they would have long been swept clean. Elder Kubu noticed Luo Feng's lack of interest and thought, Master wants me to kill this human Luo Feng at all costs. However, there's a human undying beside him, and that's Si Fan Chi. Their strength far surpasses mine. As long as they are here, I have no chance of killing Luo Feng. If I can't keep this human Luo Feng in Lasheo world, I'm afraid I won't have chance. After the soul was invaded and controlled, it would be absolutely loyal to the master. The master's orders were the most important. Even if he had to sacrifice his life, he wouldn't care. Our Golden Horn clan has a rule. The moment one reaches universe level, he has to leave the clan and go out to train. Elder Kebu said, hence, in some desolate places in Lousy world, there will be some undyings who build their own shrines, taking in the elites who come out to roam the world. Our Golden Horn clan encourages some powerful beings to go to some desolate places to build shrines. This also causes the youths of our clan to look forward to roaming the world. Luo Feng laughed. Over the long years, some powerful beings have fallen and left behind some ruins. Our elders wouldn't purposely search for treasures. Kubu laughed, and the other undyings, wanting to explore the entire Lasheo world, is simply unrealistic. Hence, there are many special places. At the same time, our Golden Horn clan, to allow the undyings and normal clan members to raise their strength, we've built a few Saint City-like places. After all, the Saint Tablet Pagoda is only good for experts of the space and metal lineages. Experts who comprehend other laws are also special. Luo Feng shook his head. I'm not interested. There's one place. It would be a pity if your majesty doesn't go. The optical computer on Kubu's wristband suddenly shot out a beam of light, forming a projection in the air. Some simple pictures appeared on the projection. This is a must-visit place for human experts to enter the hometown of the Golden Horn clan. Luo Feng, who had been very casual all this while, glanced at the pictures. His heart trembled and his eyes gleamed. He stared at the projection in front of him. How could this be? How could this be? Luo Feng's heart was in turmoil. The image in the photo was of a huge statue in a mountain valley. The entire statue was a huge lizard-like monster, a giant one-horned lizard. The invisible pressure it exuded made people's hearts palpitate through the photo. It's him, Beast God. It's the statue of the Beast God. Luo Feng stared hard at the picture. The encounters on Blood River Continent made Luo Feng know that in an incomparably distant era, there was an incredibly terrifying beast god that fought against the absolute beings of the Virtual Universe Company. Even though he hadn't personally seen it before, Luo Feng could feel how terrifying it was. It far surpassed the Golden Horn Beast, far surpassed the Destruction Beast. Elder Kubu smiled when he saw Luo Feng's expression. This is a very special place in our Golden Horn clan's hometown. It's also a place that almost all powerful human beings have to visit. Beast God Canyon. Beast God Canyon? Luo Feng looked at Elder Kubu. The Golden Horn tribe also addressed this statue as the Beast God. Our tribe's greatest being, Elder Hiroto, once said that his absolute technique was comprehended from this Beast God statue. Elder Kubu exclaimed. Back then, Elder Hiroto even said, as long as anyone can comprehend this Beast God statue, then that person will have power comparable to him. Luo Feng's entire body trembled. Comparable to Hiroto's power? Hiroto, that was the greatest leader of the Golden Horn tribe. To be able to guard the entire tribe by himself, how great was that? It's because Elder Hiroto said this. Elder Kubu exclaimed, over 1 trillion years, countless of our tribe members have gone to look at this Beast God statue. However, no one has discovered its secrets. Even among the eminent elders, they had never heard of any eminent elder comprehending this giant Beast God statue. Even many of your great beings have come here just to look at this Beast God statue. They want to comprehend it and have power comparable to Hiroto. However, it seems like I've never heard of anyone comprehending it. Of course, maybe there are great beings amongst the humans who have comprehended this Beast God statue, but they haven't made it public. Luo Feng was speechless. So, the greatest leader in the history of the Golden Horn tribe, Hiroto, had that power after comprehending this statue. Elder Si Fan Chi, there's such a thing? Luo Feng looked at Si Fan Shi beside him. Si Fan Shi nodded, following which he smiled and shook his head. However, over these countless years, other than the great Hiroto, no one else has been able to comprehend this beast god statue. Even when I look at it, I feel that it's a very normal statue. Those engravings aren't special at all. I can't understand them at all. Even our Golden Horn tribe once had a senior elder suggest to cut open this beast god statue and see if there's any special secrets within. Of course, out of respect for Elder Hiroto, and because we all believe in his words, we absolutely forbid anyone from destroying the beast god statue. However, I still can't see anything. Si Fan Shi shook his head. Luo Feng was shocked within. Si Fan Shi, that was an emperor-level undying, a powerful being that could teleport. If he was in the Ganwu universe country, probably only the country leader would be stronger than him. Such a being, yet he couldn't see anything. Bring me there, Luo Feng said directly. The Yun-Mo planet ship left the sacred city and flew towards the Beast God Canyon. Your Majesty, for you to bring me there, I'm really thankful. Within the control room of the Yun-Mo planet ship, the gray armored man, Elder Kobu, said, "It's nothing." Luo Feng looked at the vast land outside. You two are going to the Beast God Canyon to visit a friend. Since it's along the way, we can go together. After which, Luo Feng turned and returned to his resting cabin. Dylan stayed in the cabin beside Luo Feng, in charge of protection. There's indeed no chance now. This Dylan has been following Luo Feng. His undying energy is always surrounding Luo Feng as a precaution. Elder Kubu looked at Dylan's back and thought, however, there's no rush. Once we get to the Beast God Canyon, the strong there are as many as the clouds. It's chaotic there. There'll definitely be a chance. The Beast God Canyon wasn't too far from the sacred city. After flying for close to a month, the Yun-Mo planet ship reached its destination. In the air above the mountain range, the blood-colored triangular ship began to slow down. After a while, it floated in mid-air. Wah! The cabin door opened. Luo Feng brought Dylan and the others out, simultaneously keeping the Yun-Mo planet ship in his internal world. Your Majesty, Luo Feng. Elder Si Fan Shi pointed into the distance. That is the Beast God Canyon. That huge Beast God statue is right there. Luo Feng looked into the distance. He could vaguely see a blurry silhouette within the canyon. Let's head over, Luo Feng ordered. So. In an instant, they flew over 10,000 kilometers. Luo Feng and the others flew directly into the air above the Beast God Canyon. So many Golden Horn people. Luo Feng looked at the cave dwellings of the Golden Horn people, as well as the others sitting on the vast ground. He couldn't help but exclaim within. Because Elder Hiroto said before, as long as one can understand this huge beast god statue, one will have power comparable to him. Hence, countless warriors of our Golden Horn race have gathered here. Elder Kubu pointed below, smiling. Look, that palace that's about 3,000 kilometers tall. It's a senior elder's palace. It's specially stationed here to protect the beast god statue. Luo Feng too saw the majestic palace below. However, compared to the huge beast god statue, the palace seemed very normal. The huge beast god statue is lying there in a deep sleep state. Its body length, including that tail, is about 10,000 kilometers. Kabu explained. Luo Feng swiftly descended and flew towards the huge beast god statue. Who? Luo Feng landed on the ground and looked up at the incomparably huge beast god statue. He had once obtained a beast god statue in Blood River World. However, that statue was extremely small. At the same time, his statue had 4 hooves and a single horn that pierced the sky. And this one before him, the huge beast god statue that spanned over 10,000 kilometers, was lying there in deep sleep with its eyes closed. Every single scale was incomparably clear. What a terrifying pressure. It's just a lifeless statue, and it actually makes me feel the pressure from the elders of the sacred city. Luo Feng looked at the sleeping beast god statue and couldn't help but hold his breath. Your Majesty, No matter how hard we try, we can't discover the mysteries of this beast god statue. However, even undyings, even the elders, can't penetrate the statue and investigate its interior. Elder Si Fan Shi landed beside Luo Feng and exclaimed, "Nobody can understand its mysteries." "I can't understand it either." Luo Feng frowned and said softly, "Right?" He couldn't see through the miniature beast god statue that he had obtained. The golden horned beast studied the tearing sky claw, but it could sense the god within the miniature beast god statue. It could sense that mysterious concept. Following that concept, the golden horned beast continuously improved and broke through. However, this majestic, huge beast god statue before him, Luo Feng was very sure, just like his own statue, it was a beast god. Other than that terrifying pressure, he couldn't feel anything else. There has to be some mysteries. That hero wouldn't just randomly make a statue and play with his own race for 1,000,000,000 years. Luo Feng looked up at the huge beast god statue. I'll compare the two to the small statue and see what's the difference. I'll compare every single scale. And at this time, it wasn't just Luo Feng, it wasn't just the golden horned race. There were even a few other powerful beings amongst the humans that were studying the statue before them. Chapter 676. Dressed in silver armor, Luo Feng's eyes were like lightning as he looked up at the huge beast god statue. As he looked at the statue, the golden horned beast in his internal world was carefully looking at the smaller statue, comparing it to each other. Luo Feng circled around the huge beast god statue, moving as fast as a blur. One step, and he had already traversed 1,000 kilometers. "Your Majesty?" Dylan was curious. "Dylan, what is this Majesty Luo Feng doing?" Si Fanchi was curious too. Is he trying to clearly see every part of the statue? However, countless of us have done this before, yet we haven't found anything special. "I don't know either." Dylan shook his head. While the two of them were conversing, Luo Feng actually began to soar into the sky, flying up to 1,000 kilometers above the beast god statue. From there, he looked down at the back of the huge statue, looking at its back, neck, head, and other parts. After a while, Luo Feng carefully looked through the entire statue once. "Who?" Luo Feng's gaze finally shifted away from the huge beast god statue and looked down at the bottom of the canyon. With a glance, the vast tens of thousands of km wide and millions of km long valley floor. Other than a few palaces and buildings, the ground was filled with many meditating golden horn race warriors. Over 100 million warriors, almost all of them sitting cross-legged. The formless aura they gave off wasn't any weaker than the huge beast god statue. Over 100 million warriors, generations of warriors have all studied the huge beast god statue, wanting to become a being like Hiroto. Luo Feng shook his head, after which, like a meteor, he swiftly descended. As he was about to reach the bottom of the canyon, his speed suddenly decreased, his silver boots slowly stepping on the ground. "Your Majesty!" Dylan and Si Fanchi welcomed him. "I need to think," Luo Feng said and sat crossed-legged on the ground, the armor on his body cracking the ground. Dylan and Si Fanchi stood beside Luo Feng, silently protecting him. "It's actually like that. This huge beast god statue and the small one I got in Blood River World are actually so different." Luo Feng thought about the results from before and couldn't help but be shocked. The similarities: number one, the outer appearance and body proportions are the same. It's definitely the same person. Second, the number of scales on their bodies is the same, 90729. The first difference is that the shape of the scales on its body is different. Secondly, this giant beast god statue doesn't have that kind of divine charm, that kind of concept. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows in thought. There was a huge difference in the size of the two statues. One was tens of thousands of kilometers long, while the other was about 30 centimeters tall and 1 meter long. But no matter how different the two statues were, their body proportions were the same, and no matter what posture they were in, the number of scales on their bodies was exactly the same. Even the huge, sleeping beast god statue, its abdomen and the scales on its claws that were curled up were invisible to the naked eye. However, Luo Feng used his earth body's telekinesis to scan it and discover that the place where the beast god's huge body and claws were pressed together did not have scales because they were connected. There were scales too. It was as if a living ancient beast was lying there and had turned into a statue. So strange. They all have the same number of scales, 90729. However, the shape of the scales are different. The feeling it gives me is the smaller statue's scales are more orderly and divine, and this giant statue's scales don't seem to have any sort of order. Yet this giant statue is able to emit such a terrifying pressure. Just what is going on? Luo Feng thought hard. Ever since Hiroto had left the beast god sculpture within the Golden Horn race over the long years, who knew how many warriors had come over to study it? Even some powerful beings amongst the humans, like the Universe Knights and Universe Country leaders, had come over to study it. However, none of them had been able to understand this huge beast god sculpture. Maybe there were some who understood it, but kept it secret. However, at least publicly, no one had ever heard of anyone understanding it. With so many absolute beings unable to understand it, Luo Feng, who had just stepped into the Sector Lord level, with only some luck, wanting to understand it, was no doubt a fool's dream. Luo Feng sat there in deep thought. He sat there for over 3 months. Dylan, Si Fan Shi, Kashna, and the 5 human sector lords all obediently stood guard by his side. Elder Nakebu had already bid farewell to Luo Feng the moment he arrived at the canyon, heading to meet his good friends in the canyon. Dylan and the 5 sector lords weren't bored at all. This was their first time seeing the beast god statue too. They were all trying hard to understand it. They too had dreams. Maybe they could completely understand it. That way, they would be able to reach the heavens in one step. Si Fan Shi and his disciple Kashna were bored out of their minds, because they had already tried it before. Who? Luo Feng let out a long sigh. Your Majesty? Dylan and Si Fan Shi immediately looked over. Nothing. Luo Feng smiled and shook his head, after which he closed his eyes, and a large part of his consciousness entered the internal world. The internal world was vast and vast. A Yin-Mo planet ship was parked on a grass plain. As of now, with the internal world, the Yin-Mo planet ship didn't need to be kept in Babada's storage space. Babada combined the pictures I took earlier into the projection of the beast god statue. Black-clothed Luo Feng stood beside the ship and ordered. Understood. The Yin-Mo planet ship immediately shot out a blurry beam of light. Finally, in mid-air, it formed an incomparably huge beast god sleeping statue that was over 10,000 kilometers long. It looked exactly the same as the huge beast god statue outside. Even though it was just a projection, there was still a formless pressure emanating from it. However, it wasn't as strong and obvious as the huge beast god statue. I'm sure. Black-clothed Luo Feng stared at the huge statue projection. His eyes gleamed. The problem is definitely in the scales. The huge beast god statue and the small beast god statue, they both have a peculiar 90,729 scales. One of them is over 10,000 kilometers long, and one that's only 1 m long. Yet they have the same number of scales. I think the moment the number is wrong, there wouldn't be this pressure. After Luo Feng had this thought, he immediately ordered Babada, alter the projection of the statue, split one of the large scales into 2 smaller ones. Yes, Babada replied. The huge statue projection in the sky, one of the scales faintly split into 2 smaller ones. Rumble. The pressure dissipated. The heart-palpitating projection immediately became a very normal statue projection without any pressure at all. Indeed, Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Return it to its original state. Simultaneously change the engravings on one of the scales. Luo Feng ordered again. After recovering, the faint pressure appeared once more. The engravings changed slightly, and the pressure disappeared, becoming normal again. Luo Feng was even more certain that the key to the problem was the 90,729 scales on the statue. The black-clothed Masha Luo Feng waved his hand, and a small beast god statue appeared. This small beast god statue stood on all fours, its single horn piercing the sky. That domineering pressure emanated from it, that unique aura. It was almost as though Luo Feng was looking at the ancient beast with his own eyes. Babata, enlarge this small beast god statue too. Enlarge it to 10,000 kilometers, black-clothed Luo Feng ordered. Yes. Immediately, there were two incomparably huge beast god projections in midair. One was in a deep sleep state, the other was standing on all fours, looking up with a domineering, killing intent. They both have a pressure. Black-clothed Luo Feng frowned and rubbed his chin, muttering, "The sleeping beast god statue's pressure is stronger. The standing beast god statue's pressure is weaker." No, that's not right. It should be said that the standing beast god statue has its own spirit. It has its own aura, gathering its pressure. And that huge beast god statue doesn't have that spirit. It doesn't have that unique feeling. Looking at the sleeping beast god statue, it doesn't have the feeling of seeing a living beast god. Without a god, it causes the pressure to scatter. That's why it seems so strong. As long as one wasn't an idiot. They could clearly feel that the statue of the beast god, which was clearly standing, was even more lifelike, as though it was a living beast god. One felt like a living being, the other felt like a dead object. The difference was huge. The scale engravings are different too. Black-clothed Luo Feng thought, "I'll give it a try." Rumble. In the distance, a black silhouette flew over and landed on the vast grass field. It stomped on the ground, causing the grass to cave in. That was an incomparably huge mountain-like beast, the golden horned beast. The golden horned beast studies the beast god statues the best. Black-clothed Luo Feng muttered, "I'll let the golden horned beast try carving the statue." Yes, carve. Personally imitating the carving, to feel the difference in the scale engravings. This was Luo Feng's idea. "I'll first carve the sleeping beast god statue." Black-clothed Luo Feng's thoughts moved. Immediately, a large amount of world energy gathered on the prairie and began to form a 10,000 kilometers long large mountain range. This mountain range was purely used for carving. And the world energy simultaneously formed over 10,000 different carving knives. The large ones were over 100 kilometers long, the small ones smaller than an ant. The golden horned beast stood on the prairie, its scaled wings slightly flapping, circling the 10,000 kilometers long mountain range, and simultaneously using spirit energy to control the 10,000 carving knives, swiftly carving the mountain range. After reaching the sector lord level in strength control, using spirit energy to control, even if it was down to a millimeter, a micron, or even an nanometer, there wouldn't be any mistakes. Success. After a while, a huge rock sleeping beast god statue was carved. It was extremely lifelike. It's really difficult. Every carving is so complicated. However, that's weird. Why don't I feel any pressure? The golden horned beast was in midair, its eyes filled with suspicion. Whatever, I'll try to imitate the small beast god statue. Another 10,000 kilometers long mountain range appeared on the prairie. The golden horned beast once again controlled the 10,000 different carving knives and began carving. The beast god statue's rough shape was very easy to carve. The main thing was the scale engravings were the most complicated. Ow! After carving the 12th scale, the golden horned beast let out a pained roar. Its huge head shook a little, enduring the pain and continuing to carve. The more it carved, the more pain the golden horned beast felt. It was like a formless restriction. A pressure was pressing down on its entire body, even its soul. Ow! The golden horned beast let out a painful howl. Its nostrils, eyes, scaled wings, claws, and tail all had large amounts of golden blood stains. After which, with a howl, its entire body fell from mid-air, smashing into the prairie. Chapter 677. The plains shook violently. The huge mountain-like golden horned beast fell onto the plains, Its scales were filled with golden blood stains. Even some of the scales had cracks. Its eyes, nose, and mouth had golden blood stains. Immediately, the surging world energy spread out and enveloped the entire golden horned beast, beginning to heal the wounds of the golden horned beast. Outside world, Lazio world, within the beast god canyon. Luo Feng, who was sitting cross-legged like the other 100 million trainers, suddenly groaned in pain, both his hands grabbing onto the rocks on the ground, crushing them into powder. Your Majesty, Luo Feng, what's wrong? Similarly sitting cross-legged, Dylan and Si Fanchi were shocked. They noticed the pain on Luo Feng's face. Luo Feng didn't reply, both his hands grabbing onto the ground, the veins on his forehead bulging. Who? Exhaling, Luo Feng opened his eyes tiredly, looking at Dylan and Si Fanchi. Nothing, don't worry. Dylan and Si Fanchi exchanged glances. Nothing? It would be weird if there was nothing. Just sitting there, under the watchful eyes of these two undyings, Luo Feng definitely didn't receive any attacks. However, under such a situation, Luo Feng actually revealed such a painful expression. This was simply too strange. Luo Feng was a universe warrior. He wouldn't get sick for no reason. This was impossible. Seems like His Majesty has some secrets. Dylan thought. This human Luo Feng has some secrets too. Si Fanchi thought too. Luo Feng sat there, looking up at the distant, incomparably huge, sleeping beast god statue, his heart pounding. Why? I've only copied the scale carvings from the statue, and I actually feel a formless pressure, not only on the golden horned beast body, but even its soul, causing the Masha clansman and my earth body's soul to be affected. How can this be? Luo Feng was filled with disbelief. He had also copied and carved the statue of the sleeping beast deity, but why was there a problem when he copied the statue of the small beast deity? And the golden horned beast was in the internal world, its own territory. It couldn't possibly be attacked by any other absolute warriors. What's more, Dylan and Si Fanchi were right beside. If I'm not attacked by any other warrior, then who's attacking me? If you didn't attack me, you wouldn't have been injured for no reason. Luo Feng frowned. The golden horned beast was heavily injured by the pressure within the internal world. That formless and terrifying pressure on both its body and soul was incomparably terrifying. Luo Feng recalled the feeling from before and couldn't help but shudder. That was a feeling that he couldn't resist at all. Then there are only two explanations. First, there's a super existence whose strength far surpasses my imagination. He stopped me from copying the small beast god statue, so he punished me. Luo Feng thought. Two, if it's not a strong warrior stopping me, then it's the universe laws that are suppressing me. The universe was pressing down on Luo Feng. Yes, according to Luo Feng's understanding, the entire universe had its own rules. For example, if the universe space was destroyed, it would naturally be repaired. Once their speed reached the speed of light, they would be transported to the dark universe. These were all manifestations of the operating rules of the universe itself. If his actions had violated the laws of the universe, it was very likely that he would be rebounded. In the primeval universe, one had to abide by the laws of the universe. The operation of the universe has its own special laws. Anything that goes against the laws of the universe will be rebounded. Luo Feng thought. I've seen those that go against the laws of the universe. Like the nameless manual on the metal board on Earth, it's obviously breaking the basic laws of evolution. That absolute being was able to create a technique that went against the laws of the universe. However, Luo Feng, obviously, he only had a superficial understanding of the laws of the universe. He wasn't able to avoid the rebounding pressure. There are two possibilities. Just which one is it? Luo Feng thought. An absolute being punishing me? This possibility is extremely low, because to be able to not be detected by Si Fanchi and the others, and to be able to attack the golden horned beast through my internal world, to be able to do that, it would definitely be an existence that far surpasses my imagination. And such an existence, would there be a need to constantly monitor me? Even though Luo Feng was confident, he wasn't arrogant. He still hadn't reached the stage where he could be monitored by such an existence. And I was rebounded when copying the small beast god statue scales. Luo Feng thought. All in all, there was a 90% chance that the universe laws were suppressing him. Who? After making this judgment, Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief. The universe was vast and vast, nurturing trillions of races, nurturing countless life forms and warriors. The universe laws were the most just, without any bias. Even within the golden horned beast's inherited memories, it only described the existence of the universe laws. However, it was obvious these laws were for the stability of the entire universe. It wouldn't directly kill a life form. At least within the inherited memories, there was no mention of the universe laws killing anyone. Did my earlier actions touch the bottom line of the universe laws? Luo Feng looked up at the distant, huge beast god statue, feeling excited within. The bottom line of the universe laws, what did it represent? It represented the secrets within the statue, the pinnacle of the universe's secrets, even being affected by the universe laws. If I can understand this huge secret, like what Hiroto said, becoming an invincible being like that should really be true. Luo Feng thought, no wonder no one has been able to understand this sleeping beast god statue in 1 trillion years. After all, this sleeping beast god statue is the same life form as the small beast god statue. The pinnacle of the universe secrets. Luo Feng was truly excited because he realized he had received an incredible opportunity. The beast god statue could be a path that would lead him towards becoming an invincible being in the universe. Even someone as confident as Luo Feng was very clear on how difficult it was to become an absolute being in the universe. Humanity, the Golden Horn race, etc., had existed for a very long time in the universe. However, the number of knights in the universe were already so few and far between. Then, like Hiroto, an absolute being that could lead an entire race to stand tall in the universe. How rare was that? At least in the history of the Golden Horn race, there was only one like that. My small beast god statue is obviously much more valuable than this large one. Luo Feng thought, it's fine for me to copy the large statue. However, when I copy the small one, I'll be suppressed by the universe laws. Also, the small beast god statue obviously has a unique god, almost like a true beast god. And this small-scale beast god statue was obtained from the beast god's home, Blood River World. It should be the original. That large beast god statue. I don't know which absolute being carved it. After realizing the meaning of the two statues, Luo Feng was very clear. He had to grab hold of the opportunity. The large beast god statue should be a lower-level statue. The small beast god statue should be a higher-level statue. Luo Feng judged within. It's fine to copy the large one, and even though the pressure from the large statue is strong, it has no god. Then, I'll eat one bite at a time. I'll first carefully study the scale carvings of the large statue. Once I'm strong enough, I'll study the small one. Luo Feng thought. This small beast god statue was also left behind by some being. Since they could leave it behind, it's obviously not impossible to resist the universe laws. Luo Feng was clear. He was only a small ant in the human race, and the human race was only one of the few pinnacle races out of the trillions of races. Compared to the universe laws, he was simply too insignificant. Let's begin. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Luo Feng looked at the huge beast god statue within the canyon. He released his spirit energy and carefully felt the carvings of the sleeping beast god statue. Even though he had successfully copied the statue, he didn't feel any pressure at all, hence Luo Feng had to figure out the reason. Ripples. When Luo Feng carefully used his spirit energy to examine the carvings, it wasn't like the last time where he simply scanned the entire statue. He carefully felt and felt it. Gradually, Luo Feng felt the carvings cause ripples in the surroundings. Those were the ripples of the universe laws. However, they weren't gold, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, light, time, or space. However, these ripples made one's heart palpitate. The formless pressure was caused by these ripples. So the mystery lies here. How can the carvings cause ripples? These carvings seem to be connected as one. Luo Feng slowly discovered something. Actually, what Luo Feng discovered, the Golden Horn race warriors and the human warriors had long discovered. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many warriors gathered here to study it. Within the internal world, as his earth body was carefully studying the huge beast god statue, within the internal world on a large grass plain, the Golden Horn beast was once again carving the sleeping beast god statue's scales. I was wrong before. The carving should be done in one go. Over 90,000 scales should be carved in one stroke, forming a mysterious object similar to the origin law engravings, triggering any laws other than gold, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, light, time, or space. Demon Killer Luo Feng stood beside and watched the Golden Horn beast carving. Demon Killer Luo Feng watched the Golden Horn beast carving. His earth body watched the sleeping beast god statue. Occasionally, Demon Killer Luo Feng would look at the small beast god statue and experience the spirit, allowing the other two bodies to understand it too. As the saying goes, after being punched 1,000 times, the meaning will show itself. By the same logic, there was a very boring way to comprehend the laws of law, and that was to constantly practice and copy a secret art created by a powerhouse, and then copy it according to the trajectory of the powerhouse's secret art. Copy it once, 10,000 times, or even billions of times. As the technique became more and more accurate, one would naturally sense some law ripples. This was a stupid method, not seeking to comprehend the true wonders, only to be able to unleash it. This method was destined to be unable to comprehend the origin law. However, Luo Feng understood, this beast god statue's secrets were much harder than just comprehending the space or time laws to become a universe knight. Becoming a universe knight was already very far away from him. Then comprehending the mysteries would be even further away. Since that was the case, then he would use the stupid method, one time, 10,000 times, trillions of times. Others won't have an accurate standard when copying, because the sleeping beast god statue makes one unable to find the true mysteries within. Black-clothed Luo Feng looked up at the Golden Horn beast carving again and again. However, I have an accurate standard. Black-clothed Luo Feng looked down at the miniature beast god statue in his hand. It was very simple. When carving, he would bring the feeling of carving closer to the miniature beast god statue's mysteries. Within his heart, he would constantly feel the mysteries and simultaneously carve, shape, spirit. Only then would he be able to gradually succeed. This was the stupid method Luo Feng thought to comprehend the beast god statue's mysteries. It was also the most practical method for someone with his level of strength. I don't seek to fully comprehend the mysteries. I only seek to gain a little bit from it, and that will benefit me immensely. When my strength is sufficient in the future, I'll slowly study it. Luo Feng thought this way. It was important to know one's own limits. P.S. First chapter here. Chapter 678. Once it said it would do it, within the vast internal world, the Golden Horn bee sat in front of the mountain, using its spirit energy to control the tens of thousands of carving knives to attempt carving again and again. Occasionally, it would use the world energy to restore the mountain, then carve again, restore again, carve again, this cycle. Carving the carvings of the huge beast god statue failed time and time again. It couldn't feel any pressure or intent. Failed 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times. I failed over 3,000 times. That's hard. Then I'll just carve a few scales from the small beast god statue. The Golden Horn beast had the experience of being pressured by the universe laws before, hence it was extremely careful in its carving. Carving the carvings of the small beast god statue naturally gave a unique feeling. It was like carving the laws of the universe. Following the carving, the formless pressure of the universe laws once again descended, gradually becoming stronger. Stop. After carving 10 scales, the Golden Horn beast stopped, after which it roared and turned its head to control the large amounts of carving knives to continue carving the huge beast god statue. The earth body sat in the beast god canyon, observing the huge statue, constantly sensing the strange ripples. The golden horned beast was in charge of carving and testing. The Masha clansman was holding the small beast god statue, constantly observing it, sensing the unique spirit and intent of the statue. The more he sensed it, the more he felt how terrifying the beast god was. It was an existence that made people tremble, an existence that made people submit. The three combined, without sleep or rest. He was completely immersed in it. Because the golden horned beast carves in one breath, it was as fast as lightning, hence in a day on Earth, it could carve over 10,000 times. Under such a state, in the blink of an eye, a year had passed. Space beasts were naturally lonely. This golden horned beast stayed on the plains, not resting or sleeping as it controlled the carving knives to carve the huge mountain in front of it. In an instant, the carving was completed. The world energy would restore the mountain and carve again. Its speed was terrifying. Woo! Just as the golden horned beast was about to control the world energy to restore the mountain, it suddenly stopped. Rumble, the golden horned beast that was originally lying there suddenly stood up. Its dark golden eyes were filled with excitement, staring at the sleeping beast god statue that was over 10,000 kilometers long. F***CK. The demon killer black-clothed Luo Feng's body flashed and landed before the statue. He extended his hand to touch the stone carvings, feeling the faint, extremely weak ripples from the statue. Waves. It's the fluctuation of the universal laws. It's not any of the universal laws of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, light, time, or space. Demon killer Luo Feng howled excitedly. Damn, I've succeeded. I've actually managed to copy that feeling. I've triggered a ripple from the universe origin energy. Woo! On the plains, the golden horned beast also raised its head and let out an excited roar. The sound reverberated throughout the endless plains. Outside the beast god canyon, Luo Feng, who was sitting crossed-legged, couldn't contain his excitement. Staring at the distant beast god statue, he really wanted to roar. Too excited, really too excited. It's been over a year. I've already copied it over 5 million times. I've tried copying it over 100 times. The Masha clansman has always been staring at it, memorizing the energy and the state, tried to infuse it into his subconsciousness. I didn't expect that I'd actually succeed once. Luo Feng was extremely excited. The success of this time's copy, actually the ripples from the golden horned beast copy were very weak. It was already extremely weak. And the huge beast god statue's own ripples were very normal, and the pressure it produced wasn't any weaker than the Elder's Universe Night level. And the golden horned beast copy didn't have any pressure at all. Pressure, nothing. The universe origin energy ripples can only be a trillionth of the huge beast god statues. Luo Feng thought. However, at least there's already some results. Right now these results aren't of much help to my strength. But at least it proves one thing: my method works. Continue. Constantly improving. As the energy I can copy gets stronger and stronger, the benefits to me in the future will definitely be shocking. Luo Feng knew the beast god statue was a true treasure trove. His luck was good enough. The small beast god statue itself couldn't be copied at all. The moment it was copied, the universe origin laws would interfere and suppress it. The large beast god statue could be copied. However, it didn't have the true energy, causing one to not have a clear goal in mind. Only by combining the two could one succeed. And the small beast god statue in Blood River Continent was a treasure. Even though no one understood its wonders, its position was extremely high. At least the number of beast god statues in the universe were extremely few, and one of them had landed in Luo Feng's hands. Your Majesty, Luo Feng. Dylan and Si Fan Shi felt Luo Feng's emotions fluctuate and asked. Haha. Luo Feng turned to look at Dylan and Si Fan Shi, saying, I've been sitting here for over a year. However, I'm very interested in the beast god statue. I'll probably stay here for another 10 or 100 years. Elder Si Fan Shi, if you have matters to attend to, return to the Tawin tribe as soon as possible. I'll leave Liceo world after my study ends. Time is unlimited. Elder Si Fan Shi smiled. 100 or 1,000 years to me is but an instant. Your Majesty doesn't have to worry about me. If there's anything urgent, I'll definitely tell you and leave. Luo Feng nodded, glancing at Dylan. The two exchanged glances. There was no need to speak further. Dylan's mission was to protect Luo Feng, and at Domain Lord level, it was the final foundational level. At Universe level, he would be in the few bases of the Virtual Universe Company, and at Domain Lord level, he would still have the protection of the guards. However, at Sector Lord level, he would truly be roaming the universe alone. Hence, during the time when Luo Feng was a Domain Lord, the most important thing was Luo Feng's training. Dylan would rather train for a few thousand years than disturb Luo Feng's training. Luo Feng's three great bodies worked together. After the first success, he made the golden-horned beast try again. However, he discovered that it would only succeed once out of 10 attempts. After another half a month, he reached the point where he would succeed once out of 3 attempts. After another half a month, he finally stabilized, reaching the point where he would succeed once. At this time, Luo Feng had finally grasped the weakest aspect of the concept. Luo Feng named this concept the Beast God concept. This Beast God concept, I already have a little bit of confidence. Even the golden horned beast tearing Sky Claw seems to have gotten stronger. Luo Feng sat cross-legged on the broken rocks. In the distance, he could see the silhouettes of the golden horned race. Over 100 million warriors sat within the canyon, almost like a swarm of locusts. Since I've barely grasped the Beast God concept, then I'll begin my long-term training here. Luo Feng made his decision. Training anywhere wasn't the same as training. Even with his wife, parents, and children, occasionally meeting in the virtual universe was fine. After all, it was 100% virtual, no different from the real world. During this training period, I'll first exchange for the 10,000 soul control technique. Luo Feng immediately sent a thread of his consciousness into the virtual universe network. Virtual universe, Yuxiang Mountain, Primal Region, Luo Feng's villa. Within the study, Luo Feng sat in front of his desk, opening his laptop and swiftly opening the treasure trove file, following which he opened the techniques category. Within a short while, he found the 10,000 soul control technique. 10,000 hearts controlling soul was one of the top-tier control techniques. It was much stronger than the soul imprint Hu Yin Bo had created. Even though Hu Yin Bo was an official rank, he couldn't do anything to the Sector Lord Insectoid Race Mother Nest. Even if he had the money, he had no way to purchase the valuable manuals. After all, the entire human race had only created 29 techniques to control the Bug Clan Mother Nest. All of them were extremely expensive. Damn, so expensive. Luo Feng looked at the prices. It was different from the time-space scribbles, which could be purchased in layers. This 10,000 soul control technique couldn't be purchased in layers. If one wanted to buy it, one had to buy it all at once. 10,000 soul control secret technique. A secret technique to control soul slaves. Exchange price, 150,000 points. 30% off in Primitive Secret Realm, 20% off in Absolute Beginning Secret Realm, 10% off in Heaven and Earth Secret Realm, full price in Last Phase Secret Realm, 5 million points. He really dares to ask for such a price. Luo Feng looked at the price, his heart aching. It was simply too ruthless. Teacher Hu Yin Bo's technique soul imprint. The entire soul imprint technique's price is only about 10,000 points, and just the slave imprint alone, I'm afraid it's only worth a few thousand points. And this 10,000 soul control technique, it's also used to control soul slaves, yet it's worth 5 million points. Babada, who was standing on Luo Feng's shoulder, curled his lips. Don't think it's too expensive. If you're not a core member of the Virtual Universe Company, even if you have 2 million or 3 million mixed elements, don't even think about buying this manual. As long as a warrior obtains a Bug Clan Mother Nest, they'll normally go bankrupt to buy the technique to control the Mother Nest. As long as the Virtual Universe Company is willing to sell it in an auction, there'll be a huge group of warriors bidding for it. Luo Feng rubbed his chin. This he naturally knew. However, he was poor. My points, the previous 200,000 point mission, when the 1-year time limit was up, there were still 2 targets still on the run, resulting in my completion rate being only 85%. I only got 170,000 points from that mission. The most points I got from the 2 impossible level missions. Demon Note Mountain was 400,000 points. Confusion Galaxy was 500,000 points. Luo Feng looked at his points displayed on the page. Total points, 131660 PS. Second chapter here, continue writing the third chapter. Chapter 679. The points he got were mainly from the 10 dangerous level missions and 2 impossible level missions. Only then did he accumulate 131660 points. Compared to other universe-level geniuses, Luo Feng's points were already extremely high. This 10,000 soul control technique cost 5 million points. Since he was a Primal Region member, he had a 30% discount and still needed 1.05 million points. If I buy this 10,000 soul control technique, what do I do when I buy the 4th volume of the Time-Space Scribbles? Right now, I'm pretty much done with the 3rd picture. The next thing I need to do is to comprehend the 72 essences. After that, I'll have to comprehend the 4th picture. Luo Feng frowned. The 4th volume of the Time-Space Scribbles required 1 million points. Where'd he get the points from? And this Time-Space Scribbles was almost like the great being that created the 9 Universe tablet, guiding him from the side. When his Masha clansman comprehended the space laws, the moment he met any doubts, he could easily gain enlightenment by reading the Time-Space Scribbles. This was the best reference for training the 9 Universe tablet. He definitely had to buy it. Whatever. I'll cross the bridge when I get to it. Can a living person die from not being able to pee? Luo Feng gritted his teeth. Once the Bug Clan mother nest is nurtured, its potential is limitless. I'll have to spend all my points. Immediately, Luo Feng gently tapped to buy. 3 notifications swiftly appeared on the screen. Trade successful. After deducting 1.05 million points, you have 266,060 points remaining. Please wait. Someone will immediately send the scroll over. Luo Feng looked at his points on the screen. That 266060 number made his heart ache. He really didn't have enough points to spend. Where would he get the points to buy the 4th volume of the Time-Space Scribbles? And Domain Lords had to wait for the Virtual Universe Company to send someone to do missions. If the Virtual Universe Company didn't send someone, there would be no missions. Only when sent would there be missions to earn points. The 4th volume is 1 million points. The 5th is 10 million. The 6th is 100 million. My God! Luo Feng blinked. To get the best resources, he had to pay a huge price. His remaining 260,000 points weren't even enough to fill the gaps between his teeth. After a while, the members of the Virtual Universe Company sent the 10,000 soul control technique to the primal region of Yuxiang Mountain. Luo Feng personally went to receive the silver briefcase with the technique. 10,000 Hearts Control Technique. Luo Feng placed the briefcase on the table and opened it with a click. There was only one book in the silver suitcase. This book was one size bigger than a normal 14-inch laptop. It was 12 centimeters thick, and the paper was extremely thin. The entire 10,000 Soul Control Technique book had nearly 5,000 pages. On the book cover, there were the words 10,000 Hearts Manipulation and Tip's signature in the corner. Tip, the one who created this secret technique. As Luo Feng pondered, he casually searched for information related to Tip on the laptop beside him. However, the search results showed that he didn't have enough authority, so he was forbidden from searching. This Myriad Souls Control Technique is one of the best techniques to control the insectoid mother nest. To be able to create such a technique, the creator must have an extremely high status in the human race. As a member of the primitive mystic realm, I still don't have the authority to investigate. Luo Feng shook his head. He didn't think any further and flipped open the thick book. As he read, he understood more and more. Amongst the 29 techniques to control the insectoid mother nest, the effects of the 10,000 Hearts technique were indeed stronger. Sector Lords could control Sector Lord level mother nests. However, the requirements were extremely strict. According to Luo Feng's initial understanding, The most important part of the 10,000 hearts technique was the 10,000 hearts. The main point was to multitask, and it was under extreme circumstances. And Luo Feng's spirit energy amplitude had reached over 3,200. That meant when Luo Feng maintained his control over every thought to its extreme, he could simultaneously control over 3,200 spirit energies. The Myriad Hearts soul control technique was divided into 5 levels. First level, 1 mental state, 2 ND level, 10 mental state, 3 RD level, 100 mental state, 4 TH level, 1,000 mental state, 5 TH level, 10,000 mental state, of which the first level was the easiest. Normally, a sector Lord level spirit reader could easily train it with a bit of effort. The moment it was trained, one could at most control 1 soul slave. This second level was much harder. After training it, one could control 10 soul slaves. Normal sector Lord spirit readers would need to spend a huge amount of effort to train it. As for the third level, it was extremely difficult. Firstly, one's soul amplitude had to at least reach 100 before one could train it. This was the prerequisite. Even if one's soul amplitude reached the limit of a sector lord of 100, one would still need to spend countless years of research before one could train it. The moment it was trained, one would be able to control 100 soul slaves. The fourth level was extremely difficult. Sector Lord level spirit readers had almost no chance of training it, because the prerequisite was to reach a spirit energy amplitude of 1,000. Normally, many Emperor level Undyings could only reach that level. Even if one reached a spirit energy amplitude of 1,000, training it was still extremely difficult. After training it, one could control 1,000 soul slaves. The fifth level, the legendary level, the prerequisite spirit energy amplitude had to reach 10,000. However, even the great beings of those universe country leaders had pitiful amounts of spirit energy amplitudes that reached 10,000. According to the book's description, even the creator of this level didn't manage to train it. He only followed the reasoning and logic of the laws and finally wrote the technique, because the creator himself didn't even reach the extremely harsh requirement of having a spirit energy amplitude of 10,000. This requirement already negated countless undyings, much less that difficult training method. And the moment it was trained, its power would be terrifying. One could control up to 10,000 soul slaves. 10,000 soul slaves. All of them are soul slaves that can cultivate on their own. Luo Feng exclaimed. However, the requirements are too harsh. According to my guess, the demon node inheritance is split into 3 levels. The first level is 3,333 levels. I estimate that if one completely accepts the demon node inheritance, one's spirit energy amplitude would only reach 10,000. And over the countless years of demon node inheritance, there hasn't been a single life form that has reached the highest point of the inheritance. To reach 10,000 spirit energy amplitudes, one can only imagine the difficulty. The fifth level, even the creator didn't manage to train it. It's just reasoning and logic of the origin laws and imagination. However, to be able to get the virtual universe company to confirm and sell it, I think the pinnacle of the virtual universe company's absolute being must have confirmed that the fifth level can be trained. Luo Feng was very clear. The pinnacle beings of the virtual universe company were existences that even the powerful beings that built Demon Mountain weren't willing to go against. Closing the book, Luo Feng smiled as he sat in front of his desk. He was in a good mood. According to the book's description, one had to complete the third level of the 10,000 soul control technique. Only then would one have the confidence to control a Sector Lord-level Bug Clan Mother Nest with Sector Lord strength. One had to complete the fourth level of the 10,000 soul control technique. Only then would one have a sliver of hope to control an undying level Bug Clan Mother Nest with undying strength. As for the fifth level, even the creator didn't manage to train it. He only said that after training it, its power would be unparalleled. One had to know that even the undying level Bug Clan Mother Nest could only produce so many undying level bug soldiers. And the moment the fifth level was completed, one could control up to 10,000 soul slaves. Each slave could train on their own and have their own will. For example, controlling 10 to 100 undying level bug clan mother nests. That was simply unparalleled in the universe. The creator is purely fantasizing and daydreaming. Luo Feng shook his head. Just the requirement of having a soul amplitude of 10,000 is unbelievable. Even Demon Note General didn't have a life form that could complete the inheritance after 1,000,000,000,000 years. Obviously, the fifth level's requirement is even harder than becoming a knight. According to the manual, the higher the spirit energy amplitude, the easier it would be to train. Luo Feng revealed a look of glee. This technique, the soul amplitude, was the foundation. The stronger the foundation, the easier it would be to train. The foundation would also determine one's highest achievement. The soul amplitude was at 100, which determined that the highest achievement would be the third level, 100 hearts. Normally, the closer one was to one's limit, the harder it would be to improve. This made it so that one would need an incomparably long period of time to study and train. And Luo Feng's soul amplitude was over 3,200. Training the third level 100 hearts was simply like killing a chicken with a butcher's knife. The foundation was too solid. Naturally, training it would be thousands to tens of thousands of times easier than those with a soul amplitude of 100. According to the book, the highest I can reach is the fourth level, Luo Feng thought. However, obviously the fourth level is extremely difficult. After all, this technique, even though the most important aspect is the soul amplitude, the origin laws and spirit energy quality, etc., all have requirements. Normally, the fourth level is for undying energy to train. The world energy is much harder to train. With his plan set, Luo Feng began his training in the Beast God Canyon. His Earth body's consciousness was immersed in the origin orb, controlling the threads of world energy and training the 10,000 soul control technique. The origin orb was Luo Feng's soul core, energy core. Domain Lord level was split into genetic energy and spirit energy. However, after becoming a sector lord, it merged into world energy. The Masha clansman was studying the space laws. The golden horned beast continued to carve, trying to understand the concept of the beast god. When it got tired, it would switch to training the first claw. When it wasn't tired, it would continue to crazily carve the concept of the beast god. Studying the concept of the beast god actually increased the strength of the first claw even faster. The three great bodies trained simultaneously. Origin law comprehension, 10,000 soul control technique, beast god conception, all three were improving. Beast God Canyon, vast and silent. Over 100 million cultivators sat crossed-legged around the huge beast god statue. Within the cave, there were many of them too. Just the undyings alone numbered in the hundreds of thousands. On the cliff, at the edge of one of the caves, a man in rock-gray armor was sitting cross-legged. It was that Elder Kabu. He was looking downwards, as though he was looking at the gigantic beast god statue. In reality, he noticed one of the people surrounding the gigantic beast god statue, Luo Feng, for the corner of his eyes. It's already been 100 years, and this human is still sitting there without moving. Even Dylan and Si Fan Chi, the two undyings, are not moving. Elder Kabu was furious that Dylan and Si Fan Chi are preventing any Golden Horn clansmen from getting close and disturbing Luo Feng's training. To kill Luo Feng, there's really no way at all. 3 chapters completed, calling for monthly votes. I love monthly votes. Is everyone willing to vote for me? Chapter 680. In the blink of an eye, 182 years had passed. Around the huge beast god statue were over 100 million warriors sitting cross-legged, and within the walls, 99% of them had never stood up. To the long lifespans of these universe warriors, a short 182 years was simply too short. Elder Si Fan Chi and Dylan sat cross-legged behind Luo Feng. A formless, undying energy surrounded Luo Feng, protecting him well. Mr. Dylan, This Majesty Luo Feng has been training for close to 200 years. Doesn't he have a plan? When will he finish? Sifan Chi turned to look at Dylan and asked. Dylan smiled indifferently and shook his head. Of course he can train as long as he wants. Sifan Chi and Dylan both looked at Luo Feng simultaneously. Luo Feng, who was sitting cross-legged, stretched his neck and moved his shoulders, after which he stood up with a hua sound. Your Majesty. Dylan, Terrafan, and Chilean stood up. This caused Kashna and the 5 human realm lords who had their eyes closed to meditate, to open their eyes and stand up. These few years I've troubled you all. Luo Feng turned and smiled. It's nothing. Dylan said. Close to 200 years isn't much. I thought your Majesty had been training here for tens of thousands of years. Sifan Chi smiled. Luo Feng turned to look at the huge beast god statue, exclaiming within. Training for tens of thousands of years, right? If it wasn't for the Bug Clan mother nest on Earth, he wouldn't be in a rush to return. Looking at the huge beast god statue here and copying it, it was very beneficial for him to grasp the beast god state more clearly. Even though he had used the Yun Mo planet ship to take many pictures and combine them to form the projection of the huge beast god statue, it was still powerful. However, the extent of his senses was still slightly inferior. My current level is still very low. Copying the huge beast god projection is fine too. Anyway, the true essence can be felt from the small beast god statue. My comprehension speed is only slightly slower than here, about 50% slower. It's still bearable. Luo Feng had no choice. No matter what, he was still a member of the Virtual Universe Company. Right now, he was even a supervisor envoy. It was destined that he couldn't stay here for long. First, he might have a mission to carry out. Secondly, it was time to go back and refine the Zerd tribe mother nest. He had paid a huge price for it. Once the Zerd tribe mother nest was successfully refined, it would become his right-hand man. Even Hu Yanba thought that as long as he could control it, the endless sea of Zerd would be able to obstruct that terrifying enemy. In other words, the Sector Lord Bug Clan Mother Nest was indeed comparable to an extremely powerful Undying, at least in terms of trapping, obstructing, tangling, etc. It was extremely effective. Once he nurtured this Zerg race Mother Nest to immortal rank, he would be able to make a huge comeback and create an immortal rank Zerg warrior army. Just how powerful would that be? Now, Sifan Chi was shocked. Beside him, Kashna too said, Your Majesty Luo Feng, if you have nothing to do, there's no rush. You can take a good look at our Golden Horn race home. No need. I indeed have something to do. Otherwise, I wouldn't have stopped studying the huge beast god statue. Luo Feng shook his head. Your Highness, have you comprehended something? Sifan Chi asked curiously. I'm just studying those scales. Luo Feng said. Sifan Chi nodded. Our Golden Horn race has long discovered the uniqueness of the scales. That beast god statue scale carvings are causing origin law ripples. However, it's not one that I know of. As long as it's an Undying, they would instantly notice this peculiarity. It's also because of the carvings. That's why it attracted so many experts to train here, even human experts. Look, to your Majesty's left, there are 3 human experts. Those 3 are all Emperor-level Undyings. Luo Feng turned to look. The 3 had their auras retracted as they sat cross-legged, and Luo Feng didn't recognize them at all. The Golden Horn race mostly gave off the feeling of stone. That was an internal feeling. And whether it was the space beasts or humans, they all had a feeling of flesh and blood. Maybe there are even stronger humans. However, they're probably in the Elder Palace beside. Sifan Chi explained. As for those existences, I don't know. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. All right, I won't say much else. I've been very happy coming to Liceo World this time. I'll remember Elder Sifan Chi's favor. It's nothing. Elder Sifan Chi was the happiest at this time. The only thing one was afraid of giving benefits was meeting an ungrateful person. And right now, Luo Feng's words made Elder Sifan Chi, who had been by Luo Feng's side for close to 200 years, like a young master, always protecting and coaxing Luo Feng, feel extremely happy. Elder C. Fan Chi. Dylan spoke too. Then we'll part ways here. C. Fan Chi nodded. Kashna. We'll meet again in the future. Luo Feng smiled as he looked at the head's son, Kashna. We'll meet again in the future. Kashna nodded. Luo Feng and Dylan both smiled. Let's go. Luo Feng ordered. So. Luo Feng, Dylan, and the 5-sector Lord Guards swiftly rushed into the sky, simultaneously flying high up. Luo Feng swiftly retrieved the Yun Mo planet ship from his internal world, appearing in midair. The cabin door automatically opened, and Luo Feng and the other 6 flew in. Within the control room of the Yun Mo planet ship, Luo Feng, Dylan, and the 5-sector Lord stood there. Through the external simulation, they could see the Beast God statue below. Let's go. Huge Beast God statue. Luo Feng gazed down, exclaiming within. Compared to the encounters in the sacred city, the encounters in the Beast God Canyon were even more wondrous. It was even more important to his training path. Studying the Saint Tablet and acquiring the 36 levels of the Evolved God, they were far from comparable to these 182 years, with over 100 million copies, constantly strengthening and solidifying his Beast God conception. This Beast God concept, he already had a very shallow understanding of it when he first started studying it 2 years ago. At that time, the effects were very, very low. At most, it would allow the golden horned beast to unleash its tearing sky claw, and that was it. However now, after 182 years, Luo Feng's control over the Beast God's conception could be considered to have a small accomplishment. Maybe compared to the true Beast God's mysterious laws, it was only 1/100,000th of its power, but at least the huge statue carved by the golden horned beast already had a very weak pressure. Yes, pressure. And with the Beast God conception infused into the sky-ripping claw, it made the golden horned beast's sky-ripping claw reach an extremely terrifying level. Right now, my gold and space laws comprehension, in terms of power, the Beast God conception has already surpassed my origin laws. Luo Feng thought, continue training, the Beast God conception will get stronger and stronger. This will eventually be my true trump card. He knew how to use it, but he didn't understand the theory behind it. The Beast God statue's wondrous law ripples. Luo Feng didn't understand at all. 100% of it. However, not understanding didn't stop him from using it, at least after a few 100 million copies in the small statue's guidance. Luo Feng had grasped the Beast God conception that surpassed his laws in terms of power. Beast God conception, origin law comprehension, 10,000 souls controlling technique. These 182 years, Luo Feng mainly studied these 3 aspects. The Beast God conception surprised Luo Feng the most, and his improvement speed in the origin laws made him happy too. Sector Lord level comprehension speed was indeed fast. One day was comparable to a domain lord's 1 year. 182 years of comprehension was comparable to tens of thousands of years of domain lord comprehension. And the 10,000 souls controlling techniques training speed was extremely fast. The first level, 3 days. The second level, 1 year. He had just completed the third level on the 182nd year. Actually, compared to normal sector Lord Pinnacle Spirit readers that needed over 1 million years to train, Luo Feng spent a short 100 years to train the third level. That was already very powerful. His foundations were extremely solid. It was just that this technique was complicated and profound, spending over 100 years to train it. The moment he trained to the third level, Luo Feng couldn't take it anymore. Naturally, he decided to immediately leave and return to Earth. Standing within the control room, Luo Feng gazed down at the Beast God statue. Many thoughts flashed through his mind. Shilua Duo, thank you for letting me have the Beast God conception. Luo Feng muttered. And thank you, Elder Kaboo. Elder Kaboo, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have come to Beast God Canyon. Babada, let's go. Luo Feng ordered. Rumble, the UNMO planet ship fiercely accelerated and rushed into the sky, flying towards the skies of Lasheo world, very quickly breaking through the cloud layers and heading towards the space outside Lasheo world. within Beast God Canyon. Elder C. Fan Shi and Kashna looked up, watching as the Yun Mo planet ship rushed into the sky, disappearing into the depths. He's gone, Kashna said softly. The mission of receiving Luo Feng has been completed. Kashna, let's return to the tribe. Elder C. Fan Shi said. Kashna replied respectfully, Yes, teacher. Elder C. Fan Chi waved his hand, and Kashna entered the world he brought with him. So, teleportation. Kashna immediately disappeared from Beast God Canyon, simultaneously appearing within the Tawan tribe. On the walls, the rock-gray armored elder, Kubu, who was silently waiting for an opportunity, looked up at the Yun Mo planet ship, disappearing into the depths of the sky, gritting his teeth. This human Luo Feng is a complete madman. Coming to Beast God Canyon, he didn't even go to the Chief Elder Palace. He didn't even meet with the other humans to chat. He just sat there and trained. Sifan Shi and Dylan were like the automaton race, guarding and not leaving once. Now that he's just finished his training, he immediately took the ship and left. This punk, he's really... How could Elder Kubu not be furious? There were over 100 million bitter trainers in Beast God Canyon, of which a few hundred were sector lords and domain lords under Elder Kubu's control. They were his chess pieces. Many plans had been made long ago. Even Elder Kubu was prepared to sacrifice himself. However, he didn't expect Luo Feng would come to train and train. He would leave immediately after he was done. There was no chance at all. Master, the plan to kill the human Luo Feng hasn't been carried out. Elder Kubu immediately contacted a sector lord clansman under his control, telling him to send an encrypted report through the virtual universe network. The report went through a few rounds. In the virtual universe network's endless mail, it didn't stand out at all. Finally, it entered a Star Traveler member's mailbox. That Star Traveler member was a god country living in a space within the desolate universe country's territory. He swiftly reported the news to the upper echelon. P.S. First chapter has arrived. This chapter has officially ended. The 12th chapter is about to begin. Luo Feng left the Golden Horn race home, returning to the Milky Way.